a flat upper deck with the large turbine motor at the very back end of the ship that sort of provides forward propulsion, and there is a sort of like a bicycle mount near the back, which is primarily for steering and control. It's the bicycle mount, sort of the pedaling motion. From what you understand of this particular model of Zeppelin, the pedaling motion sort of handles speed. The faster you pedal, the faster the turbine moves. It's not like you're actually turning the turbine, but it's basically a control.
Yeah. Okay.
And turning the handles on the bicycle style handle sort of adjust the rudders to shift. But that's where the navigator would sit. The captain seems to just be taking up a point on like the prow, just kind of standing near the front of the ship and just kind of observing the horizon.
I'm going to go over to not like next to the captain on the prow, but like up in that direction. Pull off my totem and just sort of sit down and ask the spirits for swift winds, calm winds. Please don't throw us in a tornado. That kind of thing.
When Bloodhilt steps onto the Zeppelin, he immediately just like, not even offering a nod to any of the crew, just immediately steps below decks.
Sure. I'm going to start sort of looking around at the whatever gearworks and mechanisms there are and just sort of study how this whole thing works.
Your air spirits, please don't fuck us.
Go ahead and roll me an engineering check with intelligence.
Can you? Eesh. 12.
Your basic understanding of this is that the chains that connect to the ship are hooked to the massive balloon, which is mostly what provides the force to counteract gravity and weight. And then the propeller on the back just provides forward and backward momentum, and that's about your understanding of it.
Mm-hmm. I'll have plenty more time to look into the intricacies of this thing.
Would I have actually seen a tiger before in the jungles? I know they're jungle animals, but I don't know if they're jungle animals of this where I'm from.
Did you ever go all the way down there?
Probably not. Where are the main troll isles?
Over here.
Then most likely not.
And you've probably never seen a tiger before.
So I'm just like trying to figure out what the heck this skin is.
It's your standard like reddish orange with black streaks tiger as well.
Yeah, no, it's Warcraft. It's your super caricaturish tiger.
Yeah.
It's Tony the Tiger. They skinned him.
It was
Earl Ravenscroft.
great.
No. All right.
It smells faintly of cereal.
The troll is distracting himself from the fact that he's on a giant floating death trap by trying to figure out what sort of animal this thing came off
Every
of.
time you stab somebody, the dagger just goes, "It's great."
No, that's a crit.
Yeah, every time you stab, period.
It's very confusing why everything you stab bleeds milk.
Alright, so the next, you wait for a few minutes, and then eventually the goblin captain eventually calls out, "All right! Full speed ahead, Mr. Copperbolt!" And then you hear a very clearly female goblin voice call out, "Mr. Fairweather, slow ahead if you please!" And there is the grinding noise of a propeller as it starts to pick up, and the ship gives like a short lurch, like a and then and begins to pick up a slow forward momentum as it starts to move away from the Zeppelin dock.
There's a troll embedded in the ceiling.
I'm pretty sure that's bad for the balloon.
Yes.
He's embedded in the below deck ceiling.
Okay,
He
good.
went downstairs.
Get down.
Look around uncomfortably and then drop back down. And then do that whole "that never happened" face.
So there's this constant feeling of ever so slight motion as you are now on board an airship that is moving at a fair clip, like sea vessel at full wind kind of clip.
I have no experience with being on a sea vessel at full clip. What does that feel like?
There is an ever so constant forward motion feeling.
Have you ever been standing up in a car?
Wind.
What?
Have you ever been standing up in a car?
He can't.
How?
He's that tall.
Like in a minivan or something like that.
Like in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
How would I stand
Like
up in a
when you were
minivan?
when you were a kid.
Yeah, not
Never
like
again.
last week,
Yeah.
Austin, when you were small enough to do so.
No, I have no recollection of standing up beside of vehicles.
Taylor didn't want. So
Basically,
I
you
hit the
can
brakes.
It's sort of like standing on an escalator, but slower, where you can feel the
Oh.
ground moving underneath you.
Yeah, escalators make me like pass out. So
No, they just make you fall down and break them.
I've only broken 2 escalators.
2 escalators.
The list of problems Austin has gets longer and weirder every
Are
day.
you counting that one at Dragon Con where your monk robe got caught in there?
Yes. The other one I broke by falling on it.
So,
But no, yeah, the sensation is sort of like being on an escalator, but a lot slower.
Okay.
Where you can feel the ground moving underneath you, but you
Or
know you're still moving.
have you ever
forward.
been on the moving floors at like the airport?
Those do the same thing as escalators, so I avoid them.
Because that's slightly more accurate. Because there's no upward movement. It's just straight horizontal.
Yeah.
I have vertigo issues.
How do you drive?
Carefully.
No wonder you drive like an old lady.
All right.
Escalators are too intense for Austin.
Regardless.
Anyway, so you have at the very least several hours of this ahead of you. Is there anything you were looking to accomplish? Any conversations you wish to have?
The first thing I want to do is check out the first mate.
The first mate is a goblin woman with brown hair, that's sort of like pulled back into a high like bun ponytail. Like it's sort of like ponytail length with sort of a large leather band across the top, but sort of like tied into a ball like a bun, as opposed to being like a full ponytail flowing free. She got like these 2 very large silver hoop earrings that just kind of dangle out of the bottom of her ears, and she's wearing this sort of like navy blue, like almost the airline stewardess outfit,
Okay.
kind of. But, obviously goblin styled.
Which is to say, extremely gaudy.
Yeah, like
Yes.
gold trim and everything.
Right. Cool.
And she, as you get a look at her, she comments at the the captain shouts something, take us out nice and fast, Mr. Copper Pants. And then the first mate, Mr. Fairweather, slow ahead if you please. And by the way, Captain, my name is Coppernut, sir. You get the sense this captain does not ever remember her last name.
I also get the sense that the first mate is the one who runs things.
Yes.
I maintain sort of sitting at sort of the front of the ship, area after I get done asking the wind spirits not to kill us for trespassing in their domain. I will just sort of wrap the totem back on my forearm and just sort of sit there enjoying the breeze and watching the scenery.
Mm.
I'm gonna go see if I can find any of those weird flying snakes.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
That's a thoroughly mediocre 11.
You look around. You don't like. You're currently looking for like a snake
With wings.
with wings, and so you're looking for something green or brown, something that blends in with the ground. And you don't see any of those colors because they would stand out in the sky. if
It
you
doesn't
saw
have to
them.
be green or brown. It could also be like red or like jungle snakes. Man, there are lots of colors.
Yeah, but you're looking for like traditional snake
I'm looking
colors.
for literal I'm looking for Anaconda Part 3, Death from Above.
Like you're looking for snake colors that are designed to blend in with environment on the ground,
Yes.
which would normally stand out drastically in the sky. But you're not seeing any of those.
Okay. This is, by the way, after about 30 minutes of nope, 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 nope.
I have a feeling there's still plenty of nope going on as well, but you know.
Yes, I've internalized the nope.
Anything from the rest of you? Anything any of you are doing while you are enjoying this trip?
Sure.
Enjoying, I say with heavy air quotes.
Sean is gonna watch the troll, make sure he doesn't do anything stupid.
He's just running around above deck to different railings looking for something that you have no idea what it is.
Are you going to do anything stupid, Troll?
No, I'm just running from railing to railing looking for something that I'm not going to find.
I guess at that point it depends on you. Give me an acrobat.
I'd like to dive bomb a harpy midair.
I mean, to
troll
be fair, that
ships
is
go
kind of the
over.
best way to go.
Harpies are coming back for Josh.
I'd like to dive bomb that giant world-ending dragon, please.
You can do so.
Congratulations,
I'm
you
going
fall
to-
10 feet onto its back.
This may have been a bad idea.
And then melt.
Alright.
I'm going to talk to... Just sort of try to talk with people that actually have a slightly better idea of how this thing works. To sort of, get more of an idea of, well, how this thing works.
Alright. So you're... Go ahead and roll me... You said you want to talk to people specifically? Or did you want to just investigate the ship itself?
My initial observations didn't really, help me out a whole lot, but a little bit of both, but mostly just talking to people who actually know what's going
Go ahead and
on.
roll me a gather information.
Information gathering. You'd need a high charisma for that.
I don't think anybody here has a high charisma.
I think Leaf is the only one with the good.
I have. I'm not bad anymore.
14?
14. So, based on your understanding and your ability to communicate, like the Chief Officer Coppernut, who is the first mate of the ship, who the captain refuses to get her name or even her gender correct. She is the one who you gather immediately knows the most about this ship and is actually capable of talking about it. And so you approach her for information. What do you ask her? She seems to be. She's kind of off to one side at this moment, just taking a drink from a glass of water and just like pinching the bridge of her nose. I swear, if he calls me Mr. Coppertop or something again.
So what exactly is in... Because you said that there was the sort of bike pedal type thing.
Yeah, is the thing that the navigator is currently sitting at.
Just sort of kind of looking over the general steering mechanisms and all. How exactly do you steer this thing?
Ah! She kind of looks up from her drink. Oh, sorry, didn't notice you there. Downs it. Steering this? Well, Mr. Fairweather, she says, pointing over to the goblin sitting on the bike pedals. The when he turns that wheel he's sitting at, the rudders on the side of the ship, the two side rudders control sort of turning, side left to right, and a little bit up and down. And then the rear rudder is mostly for keeping our course correct and angled properly. It's for fine measurement. So if he turns that wheel to the left, the rudder on the left turns down and the rudder on the right turns up. So the rudder on the left gets a downward push and the rudder on the right gets an upward push, which then causes the entire vessel to slowly drift to the left.
So really not too much unlike regular naval vessels.
A little bit, but when you're working with air rather than water, you got to add a third element, which is up and down.
How do you account for that as far as making sure the lift stays right?
Well, it's mostly the balloon is mostly temperature control. You need to either heat the air to increase lift or cool it to decrease lift. To a certain extent, you can't let it get too cold or it becomes heavier than air, and then you just drop.
Makes sense.
And beyond that, it's mostly a matter of ballast. Take off a specific amount of ballast based on how many passengers and how much weight you're carrying, and then when those passengers and weight are taken off, you put more ballast on at whatever dock they're getting off at.
What other things are there in the room? Because you said this was basically the navigation room.
And it's actually open air. It's just the rear end of the ship.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh,
I think I'll sort of
I don't have to enter
investigate a little bit
because I
more
just got
into the ship
some
itself,
things
get
already pinned.
sort of an idea of some of the specific gear workings and some of the,
Like, if it-
how a lot of the pieces come together as well. So sort of also asking about, how they control how the air is heated as well.
Go ahead and roll me an intelligence check just to see how much you can retain.
As you like things,
Straight intelligence?
add
Yep.
horns they're attached to.
That was a natural one.
So
The more
it-
you follow, the more things you pinned, the more the algorithm.
What is the total anyway?
Find
3.
3? Okay. Yeah.
like-
So it you're not quite certain you comprehend it, but basically there is a very controlled flame that is basically constantly held underneath the balloon and given more fuel when it needs to be heated and less fuel when it needs to not. You don't quite understand how that fuel is sourced, considering the balloon is literally chained above, and there doesn't really seem to be any particular guide walk to get up and down. So you're not certain how exactly the fuel is added or removed, because it doesn't really seem to be an easy way to get up there.
I look for any pipelines, possibly, or anything that would automatically move it.
You don't see any that you can tell, which is a little disconcerting for you, but it seems to be functioning properly, so you have no idea, basically.
I just see the chains.
Yeah, you just see the chains.
What's her concept?
You do see a number of rigging ropes that are sort of over the top of the balloon, which you imagine probably can be unfurled if need be to allow for climbing up and down if someone manually needs to get up or down to the balloons easier. But that would still require someone to basically climb the chains to get up to where the rigging is at to let it loose.
Yeah. Okay.
After just checking out and the first mate, he goes over there and starts talking to her. I think, I don't want to get into this conversation. I've heard too much of this as a kid, and I'm just going to walk off and start working on my boots.
All right. Yep.
She's too much of a nerd for me.
Nerd.
Okay. I'm going to finish up my boots. How many hours is this thing going to take before we get anywhere?
We mentioned how much the price was for you, right?
Yes. Yeah, I got that calculated.
You'll it'll take you
because I got like over 2/3 done in the last setting.
It'll probably only take you like 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
to finalize everything.
Red hair, girl art.
That's what I figured.
I've searched red hair. I've searched that.
Because over the course of 8 hours, you as a tinker can accomplish
Images that are actual people.
350 gold worth of work. So divide that by 8, and you get 40. You work at a rate of 43 gold an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. This didn't take long.
Again, it's easier to find like if you have like for instance, mine was
Almost 44 gold an hour actually, but still.
Yeah.
for the one that that's the one that I found.
Alright. And Brick, you got anything, or are you mostly just sitting along for the ride?
Just mostly sitting around looking. Actually, I will probably go up to someone and ask them what are the what happens in the case of emergencies if this starts going down.
In the case of emergencies, there is a stash of parachutes and, shall we say, emergency flotation devices. If you need to depart the ship for any particular reason and you're not able to dock at a proper Zeppelin tower, feel free to grab a parachute and just jump off.
Good to know.
And then the question is, are all the parachutes just goblin-sized?
Of course.
Mostly.
Because
There might be a few that are sized for like an orc or a humanoid, but probably not all the way up to brick size.
yeah, Rick's gonna take 3 of them.
Would Mark say fall help?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Marcus A. Fall
Then
definitely.
I'm glad I got those ready.
So it's really just Garrick.
Good luck.
I commune with the spirits of the weak.
And hope. Yeah.
And congratulations, you would have about a minute to do so.
It's just help, 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 help.
We're trying.
I mean, hey, you've almost drowned, so that's water spirits almost killing you. This would be air spirits almost killing you. Or, well, actually,
No,
ground
it's the
spirits
earth
almost
spirits who
killing
kill you.
Yeah,
The air spirits, like, we're not hurting you, man.
not helping either.
No, the air spirit's almost killing you is getting hit in a thunderstorm.
Which we also have an opportunity to do pending.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
let's do that.
How's the weather looking?
Also, what is this balloon filled with? Because the fire spirits can come for you, too.
I specifically asked for
No,
clear
you asked the
skies.
wind spirits. for
I
help.
asked the
You
air
did
spirits
not
for
ask-
clear skies.
you asked, will
Yeah.
they answer?
Well,
Just
And will their answer be yes, or will it be no?
ask the spirits of air, hey, is this thing filled with helium or hydrogen?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Speaking of,
it matters to some people.
would anyone like to make a survival check?
I would love to make a survival check.
I can make survival checks.
I'm good at survival.
I'm not.
You might.
I'm equally good at survival.
25.
26. I can't even roll that high.
22.
19.
I can roll higher than that, but I roll 17.
Holly, would you like to tell the DM how you got that 19?
Because I rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
I also got a 19.
I have the same problem.
Nice.
but I didn't roll a
20,
natural
19.
20.
And I got a 16. Yay.
So, to all of you, it's getting warm up here. Like, it feels hot and sticky.
Because we're going higher?
Hot and
Oh, look at the ground.
Because it's real humid up
Is it
here.
real? Oh. Well, I don't see any like heat vapors in the distance.
No, but it's getting really humid here.
It's the
Look
dragon right
down.
below us. It's just the dragon right below us.
Hi, Deathwing.
I look down.
You're flying over the Barrens.
So there's nothing around the airship?
No, it's just hot and humid, which means the storm is coming.
Are any of the crewmates currently panicking? Specifically, the first mate who actually knows what she's doing.
The first mate
she's
is
good at
currently
this.
looking at a barometer and looking moderately concerned, but is mostly just kind of like watching it carefully and hoping it doesn't get too much worse.
Sense motive to see if the world is actually ending and she's just keeping a level head.
Sure.
Could I sense motive on
I
the
could-
spirits around us?
I don't think the spirits lie. I think they're pretty open.
It's not about them lying. It's about acquiring
Just
their
because I
motives.
rolled a natural 1 doesn't mean that that's not still a 10.
We are going to die.
Panic now. Hit the button.
Can I get a feel for like the spirits around?
Sure, roll me a sense motive.
19 on the dice, which is a 22.
You also know we're going to die.
I do too, but I'm going to try my boots on.
To quote Karen Bloodhoof, a storm.
Timing.
Yeah, I think so.
Good timing.
Well, not from this height.
I will just sort of say that out loud to whoever's nearby. A storm is coming.
I'm going to look and see if I can figure out where the storm is coming from.
Roll me a spot check. Try and spot which clouds are coming your
Well,
way.
it's not so much clouds, it is like winds and stuff.
Yeah, you can tell where the wind's coming from, but spot the dark thunder clouds.
I mean, they're big.
They are.
And 18.
Yeah, there's a very dark cloud front that is heading your way.
I rolled a natural 20, which makes it a 23 spot.
Yeah, you can both spot the very dark thunderheads that are heading your way.
Captain, what is the standard procedure during a thunderstorm? I don't know why I became a torrent.
Batten down the hatches, get underneath, and hope the balloon's still there in about an hour.
Okay, fine.
Right.
We really are going to die.
I gathered up all my stuff. You notice
Mr. Capatop, punch it!
Capitap?
Mr. Fairweather, could you please help evade that storm as much as you can? Sir, if you could at least get my gender correct.
Well, as everyone else gets down below decks, I'm going to stay on top. Because this is sort of the ultimate, like, fusion of the elements right now, so it's kind of a thing that's would be good to witness.
Come at me, bro.
Kind of.
The orc says come at me, bro. That means that the rest of us can live.
Does the troll
I mean,
say
hey.
come at me, bro?
No, the troll has survival instincts. The troll
Goes
gets
down.
to whatever cover he can find.
I mean, hey, you could have the entire campaign right here. The storm lights the Zeppelin on fire, and then we meet the Earth.
So I'm just
In the
gonna
rain.
sit like with my back against like because I know there's the cabin shed that goes down.
Mhm.
Like sort of my back against that with my totem out, just sort of sitting there and just going to embrace the elements.
The elements are going to embrace you.
Yep.
Sitting below deck, meditating, trying not to focus on the imminent death.
Commune with the storm.
I'm just walking around trying to get used to these boots. You'll notice that I'm now 6 inches taller. I've got little platform boots.
Boing, 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 boing.
I'm just
Yeah, so Crag,
walking.
not Crag.
Josh, Craig Jr.
Josh has these sort of like these boots that have like two coiled steel springs, one on the front, one on the back end of the boot. And when he activates them, there's like a small like leather sheath on the bottom of the springs that sort of when it collapses, it meets with the rest of the shoe and almost sort of looks like just the sole of the shoe. But when he presses the button, it unleashes the springs, and so it just extends, which raises his height about a full 6 inches, but also gives him a little bit more forward motion when he's running.
And potentially decreases some amount of impact with the ground.
Also,
Yeah, I've got those.
Yes, it
yeah,
does.
if the storm takes out the Zeppelin, I'm going to die no matter where I'm at, so I may as well see it coming.
Sure, why not?
People have survived airplane crashes before, it's possible.
Whatever floats your boat.
I don't have a flotation device handy.
Some of us have really, really high cons.
I'm not one of them.
You could crash and end up on an island, and your best friend could be a volleyball.
Could be, yes.
Regardless, what kind of cover
Except
is
if
there?
you end up on an island where we're at, we got thrown a long way.
It's an enclosed space. There's like an open back balcony, but that one has like So it doesn't have a door, but it has like some heavy curtains that can be pulled shut, and so you get that sensation of like, you ever sat like just inside your front door during a really heavy storm and just looked outside?
Yes.
Sort of like that kind of situation.
Cool. Except we're floating.
Except you're floating in the area.
Actually,
And as the wind picks up, the cabin itself sort of starts to rock back and forth very noticeably.
I think I'm going to, like, first off, make note of where the parachutes are, because those could inevitably be useful, possibly.
They're pretty much immediately lining the wall below decks.
But I think I'm actually going to stay above deck and try to keep an eye out for any possible damage to the ship that may occur.
Alright. So that you can try and mend it.
I mean, hey, why not?
You are the Iron Mender.
You've got that spell.
Cool.
Mending. I've also got mending.
Now, where is Sapphire and her mark of protection versus weather?
Yeah, this was a much
Several
easier
levels
problem.
ahead of us.
This is a much easier problem
That's
to
a
deal with
cantrip.
the Cragmobile.
Yes.
Is it really?
Actually,
Yes.
Do you have the weather pattern, Rudy?
The storm pattern? No. It's a 0th level spell because it's super situational.
Huh.
But those situations...
We don't have access to it
No.
because we are healers.
We don't have a utility caster.
I mean, we do, just not that level of utility.
Your Rune Master is right there. He just doesn't have that specific pattern.
It's a good time to spontaneously learn a new pattern, huh, Rick?
Alright.
How many levels do I need for that?
Actually, there's a feat that you can take to learn an extra pattern.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just do the crash thing and randomly gain feet, right? Totally how this... Darn it!
Brick's not broken.
Not yet.
Get better at breaking your characters, Rudy.
So,
Get worse
This is
at
the
breaking
first-
yours, Austin.
Darn it!
This is the first time I've played this.
Yeah, so
I'm joking.
No, you're not.
Never.
so a few minutes later, the rain starts to hit down, and immediately those of you who are underneath can immediately hear the pattering of rain on the main deck of the ship. And you can see it out the back balcony. The back balcony, by the way, is a disconcerting sight because every second or two, you see one of the blades of the engine pass by. So it's like you're looking at the back and it's just woof, 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 as
It's
you
like
see-
that standard first-person ventilation duct thing.
Yeah. One of the massive propeller blades that moves the ship forward passes by roughly every second.
So if you do have to grab a...
Except this
Parachute, you gotta
time,
time it.
instead of a weird light being placed inside the ventilation shaft, it's the sun.
So,
Sitting on deck, I just sort of sit there, communing with the spirits, getting rained on.
go ahead and roll me a spirit check. You who communes with spirits.
Hey, spirits, can you make it stop raining? No.
No, we're beyond that. 15. No, just sort of like, I am here and opening myself to the spirits for whatever messages they may or may not want to pass on.
Also,
Yeah,
I can't
lightning.
pass on messages if I'm dead. Just FYI.
Trust in the spirits.
You get the sense that the angry air spirits that are making up the main body of this storm are passing over you because you are not their intended destination. But you're in their way, and so you are. If collateral damage is a possibility.
We're not the target of the lightning strike, but a lightning strike may happen.
And so you sort of get this sensation of like being in the path of someone who is moving very quickly and very angrily toward the destination.
Can I tell where the destination is?
Not quite.
No?
You just know it's somewhere south by a long shot.
So I just roll my neck back with my eyes closed. Opens up. And where are you standing? Just around or?
Probably wherever I can get a decent vantage point of most of the ship, so probably close to the center of the ship.
Yeah, I'm sort of sitting in the center of the ship right now.
Yeah.
Because there's a big, basically in the center of the Zeppelins, there's like a big cabin thing that leads downstairs.
Yeah. So we'd probably be fairly close then.
And I sort of look over. Well, this storm's destination is elsewhere. I will simply be passing by.
That's at least reassuring.
Hopefully their wrath is not empty too soon. Say, looking up to see if there's a lightning strike incoming.
The noise of lightning cracks in the distance as the bolt touches down somewhere in the distance, not directly onto any of the not to your ship, not to the balloon, but
Onto the other ship.
Hey, that Zeppelin carrying her brother.
I will hurt you.
Yes, and the lightning will hurt your brother.
I don't feel loved.
We're not talking about you. We're talking about your character's brother. Yeah.
Regardless.
The storm rages on.
Yay.
The storm goes on, and the lightning
Hey,
strikes.
didn't you commit mass
and the
murder
love grows
yesterday?
cold.
No.
On the sense it's
the
not.
song is called "The Thunder Rolls" for a
A
reason.
bunch of accidents.
We were trying to save them.
The storm goes on and on out of control. Deep in her heart, the thunder rolls.
Anyway, this storm rages on for a while, and at one point,
The top piece may have broken off.
He attaches.
I'm sorry.
Holly broke the Minnie's
I'm
hair.
so sorry.
It's right there.
I was letting out my aggression. I've done that before and it hasn't broken.
gets some plastic glue,
I'm sorry.
put his hair back on.
You just scalped this orc.
Sorry.
It's highly amusing. But,
This is what your reckless hate has brought.
I mean, you know, she's playing character.
Sorry, I didn't mean to actually do that.
Now it's gonna watch you.
You did this.
You did this.
Sorry.
Yes.
So, do we die?
I need everyone to make a reflex saving throw.
I don't like those.
Where's those?
I don't like those at all. Why couldn't it have been literally any other saving throw?
I mean, I have a reflex saving throw now. 18.
Okay.
I don't. 5.
I have a +1. Oh,
I
no.
don't have
No,
a
it should be
-1
higher.
anymore.
No, it should be higher. I have a +2.
2.
No, I have a +3. I have a +3. So that's a 20. Aha. I forgot that my agility is +2 now.
Maybe a 19. Because you had a +1 and it was
No, I
actually
rolled,
+3.
I rolled a 17. I got a +1 base and then
Okay.
a +2 agility.
Alright.
16.
16.
Oh, 20. Oh, 21. Sorry.
9.
9.
So my reflex save is a 3. Is +3, not +1.
Yeah, I missed it.
So, as the ship, something hits the ship, and the entire thing, like, jolts and yaws very hardly, very aggressively to the side,
Hardly.
which
Slam
sends
into the wall.
Josh slamming into the wall, taking 11 points of bludgeoning damage, and sends Leaf tumbling straight towards the edge of the ship because he
Can
is
I-
currently sitting on the deck.
Can I catch Leaf?
No, because you were trying not to be thrown off your feet yourself.
Towards rigging?
Yeah, theoretically towards the rigging.
Alright, let's see.
Do you have Featherfall?
He has rigging catch.
Featherfall's an arcane spell.
Yeah, no, Featherfall is not divine.
Do you have Divine Featherfall?
Doesn't exist.
I'm probably not going to have... Well,
Divine Featherfall is intervention, where you go, please God, don't let me die.
Divine Featherfall is hit the ground, heal.
yeah, no, my 28 hit points say I probably can't pull that off. Probably. Theoretically, but probably not.
I would recommend catching something.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think I'm just going to catch something. I was thinking, well, I could cast some kind of a spell to buff some stat, but I'd rather have the
Just
actual...
grab the rigging.
Yeah, grab the rigging.
Make me
That's what it's there for.
another reflex saving throw.
It's there to be your
Don't
friend.
roll a 5?
Don't roll a 5? Let's...
Or lower than a 5.
Really
Oh.
roll
What
much
if I wanna-
higher than a 5.
What if I want to roll lower than a 5?
Why would you want to?
This is not 2.5 rolling.
It's not golf.
You don't. Saving throws you don't want to be low in the
Well,
second edition.
Hey, I rolled lower than a 5!
What'd you get?
A 3. Well,
Alright. So,
It's too bad you're not actually a leaf.
Shoot.
I'm a leaf on the wind.
Watch how I fly!
Oh, didn't you grab a parachute?
No.
No, he said he went.
he went to make sure he knew where they were
He went
at.
to make sure
Yeah.
you knew where they were.
I thought you grabbed one.
cool.
So, as you are tossed off the edge of this ship, those of you in the lower deck get a very nice view of Leaf flying by.
So,
Could I potentially?
I have a thing that I would have been doing as soon as I saw him running.
Alright.
I would run in the direction that he was going, grab the mooring rope, and dive off after him.
I was gonna ask if I could, if I have enough time to strap rope to a javelin and huck it at him, and hopefully impale him with safety.
Hail him with safety.
Please do that. I think this
Which is fine, because both of us are at two different levels of the ship, so neither know what the other is trying to do.
Please do this.
Impale him with safety.
Go fishing for leaf.
I'm trying to bungee cord rescue Leaf.
Non-lethal
You're
impalements.
trying to fish for Leaf.
Alright. Okay. So, I need an attack roll from Jangatal, who is trying to go spear fishing for a half orc.
I mean, hey, I don't have much AC.
Yeah, but there are modifiers for him throwing into a thunderstorm.
I mean, yes, but there's no modifiers for actually hitting me. Actually, no, there is one that's negative, so...
And I need a jump check from
Oh my.
Garrett.
Rolled an 18, have a +2.
I have no idea where that just went.
You can hand it to me.
I don't know where it went.
Oh, is this a clear one?
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it's a clear one.
Is that yours? No.
Return it.
So, rolled an 18 +2, that's 20.
That's 23.
Alright, so, Garrick, as you see Leaf tumbling over the edge, you immediately grab one of the ropes and leap off the side of the Zeppelin. You look down and see where Leaf is falling, and you sort of angle yourself to try and dive down towards him. And a spear just kind of shoots out of the corner of your vision, impales Leaf right into the left shoulder with a rope attached to it.
So,
It's something to grab onto.
grabbing the... So,
With your right arm.
Twisting the rope, yeah. Twisting
Oh,
the
wait.
rope, I
It
would...
impales your left shoulder.
I'm
Cool.
going to try. I don't know if I'll be successful. I'm basically going to try to like swing down, scoop him up, and land us in the open of the inside of the thing.
I need you to make a strength check to start pulling people in. And I need you...
Use rope. I don't know.
I think that would be a climb check to hold
Is there,
on to the rope.
is there an acrobatics check?
There's
There's tumbling, there's a grapple check, there's balancing, there's climbing.
I'm pretty sure climb.
There
is
is no
for,
Indiana Jones roll.
Yeah.
I mean, I think climb would be used to like hold on to the rope while also holding on to me. I think that'd be a climb roll.
There's a raw strength check.
Yeah, make me a climb check.
19.
You said we saw this, right? So.
By the way, what was the
20.
damage on that attack?
Oh, the damage
Oh
on
yes,
that
you deal damage with that javelin.
Also, is it a barbed spear?
Pardon?
Is it a barbed spear?
Quillboars are barbed, right?
Yes, the
So yes.
a quillbore spear would be barbed.
5 points of damage.
So don't-
Okay,
hold on.
good.
Just, but you're hanging onto that rope, and he's hanging onto you.
I can
Well,
feel 5 damage.
I haven't connected yet. I'm trying to.
I rolled a natural 20 to start yanking him up.
Yeah, so
So
you hold on to this rope and manage to you feel it snap tight right as you manage to get a grip onto Leaf. And at the same time as the rope is snapping to and swinging you towards the main body of the ship, which you realize there isn't actually a door on the side that you went off. So you're about to slam straight
That's fine.
for the main body of the Zeppelin.
Please do not crush Leaf.
Isn't there? Well, no, because if it would have had to if he could see it to throw.
There's a window, not a door.
We're above.
You threw out a window?
Yeah. Through it.
I was
Yes.
thinking the backside. Okay.
Yeah, he went off the side.
Oh well.
Also, you have to go through a propeller that way.
Yeah, the backside's the propeller. Leaf
Propeller's
wouldn't die.
slow and big enough.
it would have reeled us back in on the rope that it tangled up and then brought down the Zeppelin with.
So we can all join you.
I mean, getting him, that's fine. We can slam into the ship, that's fine. I can then
Yeah, just
pull us up after that.
Yeah.
So you know that situation when you have like a stopper on a rope that sort of like when you have that situation of like a rope with like an attachment on the end that is through a small hole, and so you start pulling on the rope and the attachment slams into the
It goes sideways, yeah.
goes sideways into the hole. Leaf is currently pressed up against the window because as Jangatal pulls on the spear.
So,
That's
I have-
painful, by the way.
Time to actually cast a spell, or am I going to have to cast a spell that's quicker than a
I
standard
think you need
action?
to make concentration checks if you want to cast a darn thing.
You can try and cast a standard action spell, but I'm going to need you to make a concentration check no matter what you want to cast.
do I have a hold on him, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Would the concentration check be easier if I cast a faster spell?
Probably, but not necessarily, depending on the spell.
Flash of
So,
light, that's an immediate action.
Theoretically.
I will call through the window.
Yeah.
Let go of that rope and pull us up from the deck, please.
I'm gonna reach out the window and yank Leaf through because I felt the stopper, right?
So you guys
Yeah, no. Flash of light. Can I have to make a concentration check?
Yes. So
Is the window big enough
Rick,
for
what
Leaf
are
to
you
climb
up
Luckily, I
to?
actually have
Yeah,
a concentration
I was gonna say I'm gonna climb up. Since I see that he's hanging off from the top, I'm gonna go and pull from there.
Go up,
Why are you rolling that
So you
die?
go up there and you grab onto the rope and start pulling.
two
Make me
tens and add
a
them or
strength check.
I don't
That's a
think he
6.
remembers what he's
I
doing.
mean, no, that's a 9. Sorry.
Is the window big enough for
You
Leaf
are-
to be pulled
you-
through?
Theoretically,
Leaf
maybe.
is really skinny.
Yes, but tall.
Yeah, so you pull him in head first.
Yeah, that won't be a problem. I don't know if you'll fit.
You have a spear in his shoulder right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be painful.
He'll survive.
I can whip it out and heal it. I'm fine.
So you're not able to concentrate through the pain to actually cast a spell right now.
Or through the falling,
What
or
did,
through
what did
the
you
war
get for a
danger.
strength check?
I rolled a 10.
10? Okay, so you start pulling the rope up. It's slow going, but you do start reeling the rope in. Make me a strength check as well.
That's an 18.
Okay.
To reach out, grab the skinny man, and
Pull him in.
Leaf, you take 11 points of bludgeoning damage as you feel your joints compress in ways they are not meant to. But
again?
you are yanked like You ever had to like force a cat through a hole that is still not wide enough for them?
I've tried to put a cat into a kitty carrier that was just slightly too small for him, so yes, I am aware of this unpleasant experience. No, it was the one that isn't vicious.
It's the one that won't try to kill you.
Yeah. I would not even attempt with the sharper cat.
So you feel your shoulders and chest being compressed on all sides as you are forced through a slightly too small window with a spear in your shoulder.
As I get to the spear part, I just rip it out.
It's barbed, I think we've established.
Yeah, so I try to stop him to do a medicine.
Look, no, I snap the spear off of the barb so I can pull him through.
Okay, yeah. Which helps a little bit, but...
You said, what, was that 14 damage? Or was, how much damage?
11.
11, okay.
Plus the 5
and 16
that you took from somebody impaling you with safety.
We need to talk to Rhonda about his attempts to help.
Shiana thinks
I'm helping!
I'm alive!
Yes!
So...
I took less damage on the ascent than I would have on the continued descent.
You did. You would have taken even less damage if you had dropped the rope and gone up top to help pull up the other rope.
I don't know, having a 600-pound man slam you into a wall might have hurt too. I don't think there was a good answer here.
I was already there and holding him. I didn't hurt him hitting in the wall.
Regardless, I pull him through successfully?
Yeah, you successfully pull him through after compressing him through the window a little bit. His shoulders were a little too wide, so you kind of had to compress
them. That's fine. I adjusted his shoulders.
Also,
and probably his hips.
Please stop practicing origami on my joints.
Also 652 pounds, thank you very much.
Is he conscious when I pull him through?
You are conscious, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that was only 16 damage. That's like half my health. A little bit more.
So I will then, once he's through and safely, I will help Brick pull me up.
Yeah, so the two of you working together, you managed to get Garrick back onto the deck.
I pull out a knife and I begin carefully pulling the barbed spearhead out by cutting the barb.
I have an actual heal check, you know.
I know, but...
Does somebody stop me?
Yeah, I'm going to try to
heal
stop him
check?
to do a heal check. I mean...
Medicine, whatever.
Let's just slap you away for a moment.
Shiana's loving this whole thing right now.
Thank you, Brick. Let's go check on me.
Okay, I finally didn't roll a 3 or a 5.
Head downstairs.
That was actually a 12. That was decent.
Head downstairs to check on Leaf as well.
Check.
21.
21. So yeah, very, very carefully, you sort of making sure that the angle is straight so no more stray bits are going to get caught in your torso. You pull the barbs out through the other end because it's already been snapped off. So you sort of making sure your hands and wrists are straight. You just kind of force it out, which is very painful, but you manage to avoid getting any more barbs caught inside your body.
And let's see how many healing spells this takes.
Only one. I come down and plant an ancestral healing totem.
Okay, that
and
makes
it's just
sense.
going to heal you back to normal.
Yay.
And I'm also just going to, while it's healing you, I'm just going to help patch you up.
I need a black marker because I think that javelin's permanently lost.
Yes.
That is certainly one way to immerse yourself in the spirit. I think, patting him on the shoulder.
Did you have?
You might want to pat him on the other shoulder.
Patting gently. I have a heal check. I have a plus 12 to my heal check. I know how to handle injury.
Not my preferred form of meditation.
You have a fun flying lesson?
Falling without style, actually.
Falling with absolutely no style or grace.
So once we have
I'm going to locate the parachutes again. Take one.
Just a little healing totem in the middle of the room going, and all of us are regenerating 1 hit point per round. Just because I continually mark.
One hit point
No reason to waste this. I could go hit somebody. Like a one-armed orc.
Wait, what?
She looks at me funny.
Josh gets bad ideas.
Wait, did you say that in character?
I said it out loud.
Okay, wait, repeat that again. Sorry.
I say, oh look, we got a totem going. We could just No use to waste.
No need to waste.
No need to waste the healing.
I could smack Shiana. And then she looks at me funny, and I turn around and walk the other way.
I'm out of the blast radius. I am out of the blast radius.
None of us should be hitting anybody else. It's also not wasting, it's healing.
Yes, I know.
Hey, the last time the troll hit somebody, it helped.
Get it,
Every once in a while, I glance over and notice that Shiana's still glaring at me. I just sit down and.
Is anyone else hurt from the tumbling?
Are we all under deck?
Currently.
We're
Yes.
not above deck?
You are all below deck. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Did anyone else get
And
hurt?
I'm going to
when
stay
the-
below deck.
Did anyone else
Forever.
get
Josh did.
What?
Josh took a little bit of a hit.
Josh is fine.
hurt? Well,
there's a totem.
Josh is also healing from the totem. then,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And you can see that most of the goblin crew is doing all right. Nobody else seems to have gone overboard.
They probably already have parachutes.
Yeah.
I feel like one or two of the goblins saw the Indiana Jones leap and were like, we can make money doing that.
I feel like one or two of the goblins
It's like
also saw
Just invented
saw
like
the half-human get impaled with safety and found it amusing.
Yes.
just invented like
That does
base
sound like a
jumping.
very goblin way to help people on ships. Like dealing with a warship. I mean, you've already got the war ballista, so just attach a rope to one of them and that's your life preserver.
Yeah, which.
You know, parachutes exist.
They do. But you have to get them back on the ship. Parachute doesn't help.
Yeah, this is true.
So you impale the parachute with the ballista,
Yeah.
And then when it gets all wrapped up,
I work with the tools I had on hand, man. Regardless,
And I can't complain.
so
I'm gonna go
making sure everyone's healed.
chill in a corner.
I'll go back up to the deck.
Anybody curious about what caused the ship to just
Yes,
tilt?
that's why I'm going back up to the deck
Okay.
to see what the hell happened. First, I had to get Leaf back on board. Then I had to make sure Leaf wasn't dying. Then I can go check what hit the ship.
So you head up to the deck and you find that Chief Officer Coppernut is already there and is sort of leaning over one side of the ship, kind of looking down.
If we lose the rudder,
Yeah, and as you look over the edge, you see the rudder on the left side of the ship is scorched and blackened from a lightning impact, and a large amount of its surface area has been splintered and tossed away.
Fun.
That's not good.
Doesn't seem good, no. Do you have a spare?
A spare rudder?
Yes.
No.
Ooh, I could fix it.
Worth asking. I can try to mend it, but I don't know if enough of it is there.
There are giant holes in it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
mending, I believe, is a spell that does like handheld things.
Yeah, that's
Like
I don't know if
sticks and
enough of
strings.
it is there.
I think heal technological device might be
Yeah, repair.
Repair damage.
Yeah,
Do you have
repair
that
moderate
spell?
damage, whatever.
Do you have
Yeah.
a Hold
I'm
on,
a priest
I will
that's
go-
going to take levels in Tinker. Of course I have.
I will go grab Leaf and see if he has a spell for this.
Just lower me down on a rope. I'm familiar with the experience.
Just stab a
Upside down.
javelin in it.
Leaf! We could potentially use your expertise.
All right, I will.
I grab a
As you start to go up, the troll runs up to you and ties a rope around your waist, and then a long one, and then ties it down, and then slaps you on the shoulders and motions for you to leave.
How long is this rope exactly?
50.
However long I could find of one.
I think they're
I'm standing up on top
I
of
will
it.
begin moving until the rope inevitably constricts me.
I'm like standing outside the door with another end of the mooring rope in hand. It's like, oh, I see someone else already got it.
It's the same rope that the spear was attached to.
I think Zhang Atal didn't want to lose another spear.
Fair enough. One of the rudders has been busted. And I'll guide him over to the side.
Gotcha. I want to double check this knot. Whatever knot ends up holding me onto
If
glorious
it's the one
life.
that I tied, it's a bad one. It's a
Yeah, no,
really.
I'm making my own roll on this.
Make a user roll.
I will.
What'd you get?
A 7.
I'd just like to let you know, by the way, that when you use rope skill, you always think you're successful.
Yeah.
It's better than my 6.
Can I gauge how well this rope is tied to him, by the
So
way?
you retie the rope. And you can make me another use rope roll.
Well, I didn't retie it, I just investigated it.
Yeah, it was an investigation.
You investigate it. You're like, oh, this is fine rope. This is fine knot.
21.
No, that's not going to hold.
If I may reach over and pull one end and it just unravels. Just
It was a very skillful slip knot.
grab the mooring rope and tie it around him properly.
Okay. Works for me.
And then I'll hold on to that end so that if he goes over, I'm holding it.
I go up on...
Likewise, if
Above
I go
deck.
over, I'm holding it.
All right.
Now, what was this that needed help with?
I don't know if you can actually do anything about it, but we could really use that rudder being functional again before we hit that.
I look... I don't want to know what we're going to hit. I just look over at the rudder.
I will while lowering Leaf down to the rudder, I will look at what we're going to be hitting.
So you know, right about there.
Yep.
It's like
It's a mountain.
It's a mountain.
Yeah.
In the middle of the Barrens.
Yeah, random mountain.
Why?
Was there always a mountain in the middle of the Barrens?
Yes.
Okay.
It's still there.
It's just you can't turn away from it right now because the side rudder's gone.
Also, it's a volcano.
You know, at this point, I don't think it matters whether or not it's a volcano. It's a giant piece of rock that we're aimed at.
Well, I mean, the fact that it's a volcano just makes it
Actually,
slightly
that's
worse.
the mountain the Wailing Caverns is in.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the ones that definitely erupted.
I heard dude fist.
Dude fist.
That Doom Fist erupted. Doom Fist punched a mountain and it became a volcano.
So what are you doing?
So you're gonna cast repair device.
Yeah. Repair moderate damage.
Use one of my die.
Repair moderate.
It's only the D20 that's been doing terrible things to me thus far. This is, you know...
To be fair, what other dice have you rolled?
It's basically just been the D20, so...
So
Roll some
We'll
D8s.
see. So that's moderate, that's 2d8, yeah.
Plus your level.
Yeah.
Does this count as healing for your healing bonus?
It isn't a healing domain spell, no.
so no.
No.
Okay.
It's not a healing spell. It's a repairing
Let's see,
spell. They're
5
different.
plus 5, 10, 14.
So yeah, you managed to restore a decent amount of damage. It's still not quite holding wind,
I've got a question.
but there is more structure to it than was there prior.
How many times can you cast
I
this
will
spell?
cast it again. I can cast it
Out
a
of
lot. I have an
curiosity.
insane amount of mana.
Would I know if I could apply troll skin to the
Not
ship?
to an
It
object.
has to be alive.
6 and
Also,
Three.
are you paying the extra 1 mana to use all 4 of your caster levels?
I would.
yes, absolutely I am. 3, 6, 9 plus 4, so 13.
Alright. So you'd be paying 4 mana for each of these castings if you're using your
Yeah.
full caster level. 13 is 27 points of damage healed. It looks like it'll hold air now. It's looking a little damaged still, but it looks like it'll be less efficient than it should be, but at the very least,
One
it's
last attempt.
I will direct Copper Pants to
I
go
will
ahead and
continue
start
casting this
having the-
spell until it does not make a noticeable difference.
I know her name's not Copper Pants, I just can't remember what her actual name is.
7, 2, so that'd be 9 again, 13.
Yeah, so with the last of the damage repaired, the rudder is fully righted, and Chief Officer Coppernut.
I have to ask real quick, what does it look like when you're casting this spell? Like, just visually, I'm curious.
Let me look at the exact description.
I imagine it looks like cure wounds. Just instead of like flesh regrowing, the wood just like reverses, like splinters backwards into place.
Because I'm just curious, like, because I mean, the visual is probably entirely up to you. Just like, what
Never
does
mind,
it?
it's not even more magic and mayhem. It's
Well,
more magic and mayhem.
Yeah, it's more like mayhem.
Oh.
Pulling, just the wood growing back.
Yeah,
Essentially.
I don't think it's
Because I'm just curious, like,
tells.
especially because I'm sure the goblins are going to like find this sort of spell fascinating because it's not a common one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a priest spell, especially, so. Because it's not just a healer spell.
No, it's a healer spell.
No, it's a priest spell specifically, I'm pretty sure.
I have access to it.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it was an arcane spell.
It's healer spell.
It's arcane and priest, I think.
You'll find out in a second.
Assuming I can, find the single largest part of this book.
Which is to say the spells.
There we go.
The magic.
Okay, it's a lot earlier than I thought it would be. Healer spells.
It's not in
Never mind, it's not in there.
Are you checking healer and priest?
Yeah, it's specific.
Yeah, so it's not in this book.
Regardless.
Might be an
Anyway.
Alliance Player's Guide.
I don't think it is, but because I don't think I've looked in Alliance Player's Guide at all for my spells, but I've seen it before.
I don't think it's in core magic and mayhem, but I'll check.
Is it in the core rules?
It's not
It's
in the
not.
core rules.
I think it
It
is.
might be dark factions because I know a lot of Sapphire spells.
Actually, it might be Horde
Right.
Player's Guide.
Right.
It's almost definitely not Horde Player's Guide.
It's
I will check
it's
that in a
probably
minute
Dark
now.
Factions.
You mean Poor Player's Guide? It definitely wasn't Dark Factions. I didn't even look at that book.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, never mind that.
And a Horde Player's
I don't-
Guide. Alliance has like Bracing Sleep and.
Like, I'm just curious what it looks like. I don't think that's going to be listed in the spell.
No, it's
Which
not
I should definitely take.
I think it does. I mean,
I should definitely take Bracing Sleep.
it is a good spell.
You can prepare spells while you sleep. As we fuddle through these
Massive numbers of books.
massive numbers of books.
I think that's all the books accounted for, actually.
I don't think it matters.
Whatever.
Anyway,
I mean, hey, if
It just says it.
if I can choose how it looks, then I would imagine it would basically just be some kind of solid-looking light energy sort of expands
Oh,
out
here
from
it
the
is.
material.
It is in the Horde Player's Guide.
Really?
Yeah, and it is an Arcanist spell.
Just find the spell.
Yeah,
So, what would you say it looked like?
it actually is.
Probably just look like,
Yeah, it's no. They're generic healer spells, not priest specific.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh. Interesting.
Arcanist and healer.
But yeah,
and
So, just like the spots fill them with light and then
the
they
spots
burn.
fill in with light, and then it sort of
you
fades
magically
into the
you
material.
magically repair damage to a single building, golem, war engine, or similar construction. The spell has no effect on living creatures or undead. It affects only artificial constructs such as building, catapult.
Yeah, there's no description of how it
Yeah,
looks.
there's no description of what it
So-
looks like.
Basically, the area just fills in with a sort of solidified light and then fades away to reveal repaired material in its place.
So there is a like white goldish glow that sort of fills in the areas of damage, and when it fades away, there is fresh material in place of what was previously rent and destroyed.
And depending on the material, it may or may not look more Tron-like.
Once it's repaired and Coppernut issues the thing, I'll yank him back up.
Cool.
And Chief Officer Coppernut issues the order, Mr. Fairweather, could you please get us off of a collision course with that mountain?
Did Mr. Fairweather get knocked overboard?
No. He's good.
He's got something to hang on to.
He's strapped in.
Yeah, he's on the bicycle.
Also, like I see that the rudder got blown up, but I'm just gonna sort of look behind us and see what hit us, if anything, if anything's visible.
Didn't she say it was a lightning strike?
Oh yeah, no lightning strike. That's right.
Yeah, it was
That's
burns.
right.
Burn.
So eventually well, you can uncover if you want to look. You can roll me a spot check. The ship slowly starts to turn left and veers off of the course of impact with this particular mountain. When Another lightning strike hits the rear rudder this time, and the engine. It was not a lightning strike that came from above.
Where do I see where it's coming from?
Down somewhere like far off in the distance from the ground, a blast of lightning just erupted from the ground and shot up towards the bottom of the ship and crashed into the engine. The ship, as a consequence, begins to spin very quickly.
We're under attack! I call out.
The engine, would I be able to access that from the inside?
Not really.
Okay.
It's mostly built into the back of the main deck.
You say spinning.
Yeah.
Spinning spiral of descent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
Did I get a look at what was attacking us?
it starts spinning real quick, but you see just the faintest. You're only like a couple 100 feet off the ground. So you see just the faintest glimmer of metal and gold and like the
Alliance
primary
colors?
Yeah.
I'm going to immediately just ask out, repair the engine or brace for impact.
I mean, if you can get us back online, that'll help make the descent a little bit less painful.
Alright, I've already almost fallen off of this thing once before, and I will fall off of it again if I don't do this. So, off I go.
I'll go dangle him over the engine.
And you don't have to dangle on this one. This is like
Okay.
the engine is literally built out of the back of the Zeppelin.
In that
Oh,
case,
really?
I'm
Nice.
going to go downstairs and grab a pair of parachutes. And
I'm
look at
going
the
to run
rest.
over to it and try to repair it again.
Look at everyone downstairs.
So how are the rest of you hanging in as the ship starts to spiral down?
I knew it. I knew it.
He's
8.
never
Okay.
getting on a 10
10,
again.
14. 14 points restored to the
I'm gonna
engine.
drag him on. He's gonna be.
If JoJo has taught me anything, it's that you never, ever board an aircraft if you're a protagonist.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
And that's the only time you board one. You're the only one who
Next time, I'm
survives.
gonna have to sedate
Well,
him.
you
and
never,
drag
you
him
never,
to
you
get
never
him on
board an
this.
airplane if you're a JoJo protagonist. Period.
And you've already demonstrated plot armor against this sort of thing, so you know.
And
I am the size of a JoJo protagonist, but
the and as you're all having this conversation, Warlord Bloodhilt kind of bursts out of the private cabin that he had been staying in the entire time as the ship starts to careen, and he almost immediately just kind of looks out the back and sees everything spinning and looks down. You are absolutely certain that there is no way that anyone could know exactly where they were looking off the ground, but he looks out the back of that ship and his eyes immediately lock in on where that blast came from, and is looking almost fixedly on the Alliance soldiers as the ship spins. Like his neck cranes as the ship spins to and from spins away from it.
I'm just imagining his head turning like an owl.
I was saying, as I come down to grab the parachute, I'm announcing.
We're too close to the ground to use a parachute. We're under 500 feet. It's not going to work.
That's a goblin parachute.
How's the ship?
I don't know that. We've been attacked
Is
by
Josh shouting that?
Yeah. I mean.
We've been attacked by Alliance forces. They've taken out the engine.
Okay. Well,
Where?
we're on a slow descent.
What looks like the most crash-resistant part of this? I mean, not crash. What looks like the safest cubby that might not shatter into a million pieces?
Nothing is crash resistant. He does like 300 damage per hit.
700.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're not hitting the ground. We're actually just as we get closer.
There's a-
everything that gets.
Why
close
is
to the
there a
ground gets
centaur?
struck by a centaur.
Why is there a centaur down there?
And
Okay.
Ash is waiting.
Does the 14 hit points do anything with this engine?
It starts to sputter and kick back online very slowly. It's by no means back online, but it starts to spin a little bit.
Tell me whenever I get opportunities to cast more spells on this
As
thing.
you look up, you realize there's also a hole in the balloon.
I mean, so.
Oh.
Would it help if I threw someone up into the air while the parachute was on?
You could throw me at the balloon and I could repair it, maybe.
Because I might just put a parachute on Leaf, pull it, and shot put him out. So at least he doesn't die.
Or for my parasailing position, I could see if I could reach the balloon and land it, maybe?
Jump. Yeah, that's not gonna work either.
I mean, it'll slow us down at the very least. It won't.
It
won't fully extend, but it'll slow people down. So yeah, I'm gonna.
I mean, put a parachute
so
in
I
the
think
hole.
the balloon's probably more important to repair than the engine. The engine gives us thrust,
Actually,
the
no.
balloon gives us
We're
lift.
currently falling down. If you just pull the parachute, it'll yank you up.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
It'll lift balloon to a certain extent.
I don't.
Yeah, but it'll help. It'll be better than standing on the ship when it hits the ground. So yeah, I'm grabbing 2 parachutes and I'm going back up and putting one on Leaf.
Leaf already has one on.
I already have one.
He's already.
Oh, did you grab one?
Yes.
Yeah, the moment he got back
Okay,
in.
I thought you just went to check on them. I didn't realize you'd gone.
No,
That was the first time.
I checked on them once,
Got it.
and that's a mistake.
Oh, in that case, I'm grabbing a parachute and putting it on. And going up to the deck.
Is the engine actually moving at all right now?
It's slowly, very painfully slowly. It's like sputtering and kicking.
I'm
Try.
repairing the balloon is more important right now, especially because it's losing air. So
Well, if it's.
I'm thinking whether or not it's stupid to try to pull the parachute right now because that might damage the parachute so close to everything.
So I'm back up there next to Leaf now. How fast are we approaching the ground?
Very quickly.
Yeah, I just reach over and grab Leaf's parachute and pull it.
Okay.
So, Leaf, as Garrick pulls the cord on your parachute, there's like a sound of like metal grinding noise, and
Please don't tell me you rolled for this thing and roll a 1.
a pair of side struts emerge out the side of the parachute package, and
I'm Buzz Lightyear.
and a pair of like wooden barrels with canisters and fuses burning
Oh, okay.
These are the good
So
parachutes.
they're not a.
light up, and a few seconds later you find yourself soaring through the air as this makeshift explosive jetpack takes you off into the
As soon
air.
as I notice the barrels, I untie the rope, by the way.
Good.
So I see what happens is he goes yoink, and you go. Phew!
No, I just yoink. Goblin engineering.
Upon seeing that, I pull mine.
And yeah, so as you pull the rope, a pair of barrels basically with gunpowder jetpacks.
Can I?
Okay.
Use the parachute!
At this point, yeah, to the parachutes.
I'm guessing there's no way I can get this balloon on the way up.
Probably not.
No.
You're lucky you don't slam
Everybody's
into it on the way
get on
up.
the parachutes. And,
I'd probably go through it.
And so the parachutes, as you have learned, aren't just parachutes. There are like single-use propulsion jetpacks to get you far away from the ship that is going down before the parachute fires out. So a pair of basically explosive lift, like jump jets, basically launch you way away from the Zeppelin into the air, almost like an escape pod fire, like a personal escape pod firing out.
Now the trick is going to be getting John Gatali one.
And then, a few seconds later, after the explosive payload burns out, then a parachute launches.
To be fair, considering one of the primary reasons you'd want to leave a Zeppelin is because the immediate area about 300 feet around the Zeppelin is suddenly a lot fiery than normal, makes sense that this would be the escape method.
Shiana's gonna grab one of these and try to shove it on him.
yeah, I'm gonna assist in trying to get this on him. I'm gonna assist.
I can
and say,
hear the angry cat growl.
You want to live? Put it
Let's do
on.
this.
Put it on.
Nope, 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 nope,
Just leave him. Just leave him. You'll be fine. Just leave him.
Are there fantastic?
No one tell him that fire stops troll regeneration. Just leave him.
Fire does not stop troll regeneration in Warcraft.
So first of all, I'm guessing that
300 d6
with
of
a
fire
safe
damage
ball
stops
with-
troll regeneration.
the ship would be too big for that. I'm guessing.
What are you asking for?
The glyph of safe ball.
Oh no, yeah, that won't save this entire Zeppelin. It'll
Is there-
save you.
Are there any? Is there any?
Or
Like,
anybody he puts it on.
Yeah.
well, it has to be an object, but it'll. Anyone who's holding onto it will be affected by it also. So,
Put it on one of his spears?
or something that more people can hold on to.
Yeah, you can put it on his armor if you want to.
His arm.
On his armor, yeah.
Is there anything bigger that's not attached to the ship that
You could like rip a door off of its hinges or something.
Yeah, you
Surf
could,
a door down.
You could theoretically rip the door of one of the cabins
Surf it
off.
down.
Let's do that.
Make me a strength check.
Meanwhile, off in the distance, Leaf and Gary. I don't see any more
Natural 20.
parachutes going off.
That thing just
Yeah, you walk over to the cabin that Bloodhill had barged out of and just like, okay, got it.
I will set it down, and anyone who wants to get off, not using one of those flying things, hop on.
Sure! The troll looks around at the imminent destruction everywhere he sees and figures, sure.
Do you grab a parachute?
I'm gonna go ahead and grab a
She'll
parachute then.
she'll take the one she was trying to put on him.
Yeah,
Put it
okay.
I'll go on a parachute.
All right,
Grab
yeah.
a parachute and just kind of.
Oh, wait, there are some. Okay.
So both of you roll me a d20 and don't roll a 1.
Don't roll one.
Yeah.
How about 15 plus whatever?
That's not a 1.
That's a 1.
Is that
That's
not
a 1.
7? Damn it, that's a 1.
This is a 7.
So,
Oh,
what
sorry,
does
that's
critical
a 1.
malfunction do?
There goes your other arm.
And of course, the person who rolled the 1 isn't the person who has
Hey, look, don't roll a 1. 1.
void malfunction.
Goodbye to your
Yeah.
other hand.
Well, I'm right next to you because you were right next to me with the jetpack.
Kimmy might know it's rolled 20 for me tonight.
Now the
This is
question
first
is
one.
whether the jetpack blows up in your face.
The question is,
That wasn't
Well,
the
is
trick.
there time for the troll to respond to this?
The trick I was doing was,
Because
oh,
there's 3 ways I can see this thing failing. Either it doesn't go off at all, in which case you get on the door and you're safe. Or it blows up, which in case you take damage, but then you get on the door and you're safe. Or it fires off and then the parachute fails, in which case you are very, very, very dead.
How does the door thing work?
It just it's safe. Slow fall, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah.
If the object is falling, it is treated as though it were under.
So you're gonna have to
slow
get out
fall.
of the ship anyways. You can't just stand on it and wait for the ship to crash.
Yeah.
He literally, you run, jump over the edge and you surf it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the first level of Sonic Adventure.
It's 100% the first level of Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 2.
Yes,
You just become Knuckles. Just like lay on it and just bodyboard.
How do I die?
So when you pull the parachute
You mean
forward,
dive?
you realize that you're still inside. And so a pair of barrels with gunpowder jump jets emerge from the side of the bag and
Are they on fire?
and detonate. And you crash through the roof of the Zeppelin,
Ow.
Taking a little bit of damage.
taking
A lot of bit of damage.
13 points of bludgeoning damage
Ow.
That's okay.
as you
Easy.
crash through the the Zeppelin and sort of spiral off into the distance. The parachute does eventually go off though, so you do eventually start to course correct.
So we see this from the
Just
distance and
follow
go,
directions. Rolling ones.
huh.
He told you not to.
I think someone will need healing.
I think a lot of people are gonna need some
And so the Lord Bloodhilt and several of the goblins also grab a parachute. Bloodhilt grabs the parachute and dashes through the very slowly kicking and spinning blades behind the ship and leaps off as he pulls the cord. And the parachute, the barrels extend and rocket him towards where that lightning bolt came from as he angles himself toward it.
Bloodhilt is going for the Alliance forces
That's yeah.
by himself.
I'll be there as soon as I can.
We may not have a commander in a few minutes.
We also
Or
won't have a
Alliance
weight
problem.
on the inevitable surrender offers that we give them.
I mean, they did try to kill us.
Yes,
Without
and they
knowing
did a
who-
darn good job of it. I'd rather not test them again.
Without knowing who was on the ship too. That's there could be civilians in that.
And so, meanwhile, Brick, you just sort of lay the door on the back end of on the balcony at the back
Yeah.
where the blades are spinning very, very slowly, and you cast the glyph on it, and it's this slowly rotating ward that sort of sort of has the shape of a pair of wings that extend on the surface of this door. And you just kick the back wall to push off. And so you and Jangatal are surfing this door as it slowly descends.
I like to imagine there's like 4 goblins on the back of Brick Day as well. Just like,
So you're sort of like, you got one hoof on each side of this door and just kind of like slowly surfing it down as it slowly descends.
That's awesome. Hang on, Genital.
And he's
Oh my goodness, there is so much hanging on.
he's got claw attacks now. So it's or bite attacks.
City Escape begins to play in the distance.
Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and you will
escape from the zeppelin.
I don't know this song.
It's a really bad song.
My husband knows it, and I don't.
It's because it's from the Sonic games.
It's a really bad song from a really bad game.
Sonic Adventure 2 was not a bad game.
But that
it
was
was
from
the
Sonic
last
Adventure
good
1.
game.
But that was from Sonic Adventure 1.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
2.
Sonic Adventure 1 was amazing.
And it was also from Sonic Adventure 2.
Ah, right.
Yeah, that's when you had to believe that for some reason everybody can think that Sonic suddenly became black and has red stripes. Because that's totally... Oh, he's a hedgehog! All hedgehogs look alike. Doesn't matter what color they are.
It doesn't matter that they look nothing alike.
Shout out how many bipedal hedgehogs? There aren't really a lot of bipedal hedgehogs in that, universe.
Well, in the game,
There aren't, but it would be like mistaking Rudy for William. Because they both wear glasses and have huge
No,
hair.
it'd be like mistaking me for Will Smith.
Aren't
Okay,
you?
so anyway,
Wait,
Didn't I marry
I'm
Will
so
Smith?
confused.
Anyways, how massive of an explosion does the Zeppelin give off? How many people die in the explosion?
So the Zeppelin descends, and as you look, it crashes into the rent between the two barons, into a river of lava, basically.
Point of order.
Oh, shit.
Which side of the rent are we falling on?
You're falling on the opposite side, on the south side, the one you're supposed to be on.
Which side of the rent is the Alliance base on?
On the south side.
Okay, good.
let's go get him.
Just wanted to make sure that we weren't... If we're going to lose Bloodhilt, at the very least we'll lose him in a place where we can collect his body later. Rather than lose him and he's on the other side of the rent.
Let's
As
take
soon as I
care of
sat
some
down,
alliance now.
Yeah. Let's head toward the Alliance as soon as we can.
How many of us are still floating down?
Over the course of the next minute or two, all of you slowly touch down across like a 200-foot spread, basically.
Ow.
Okay. I'm going to start running toward where we saw him disappear.
Regroup first! I call out across the...
Well, you guys can catch up with me.
If Josh wants to die, that's fine with
He
me.
wants to test out his new spring boots.
I start, getting...
There are people that need healing.
I start tracking people down that need healing.
Yeah, we will try to regroup everybody before we charge off towards Alliance troops. So I can plop down a
I don't
thing.
normally move
Reassemble
as fast as
pack.
everybody.
Reasonable pack.
Okay.
Put down totem. Let it heal. Then we go. Because I can spend 1 mana. Oh, sorry.
I need
3 mana for
healing.
that.
So can we see them? I mean,
She, like,
where we are,
puts
are they
her
around
finger
the other
on
side
your
of the hill or
shoulder.
anything, or
You-
I think he's about to put on a
You
healing
don't.
totem.
You don't. I put
Oh.
down a totem on the ground.
Awesome. Awesome. Never
It's
mind.
healing without touching.
How long does that totem last for?
Technically, I have ranged healing too.
So
It's just a lot less
10 rounds.
efficient.
So it heals 10 hit points?
Yeah, deals 10 hit points. And then I put another one down if we still need it.
Yeah.
I still need a little.
That just cost me 6 mana. I'm fine with that.
I appreciate this.
You're welcome. Where is...
It's like the closest to thank you you're ever going to get.
There it is. Found it.
Your healing is appreciated.
can we see them from where we are? Are we
I
up
don't
How many
need
other-
from
this.
there?
The Alliance, or...
The Alliance.
How many other people were there on the
You gave me a
airship?
thank you.
there were only about 5 or 6 goblins.
Yeah.
Okay. And most of them went down with the door, I'm
Help me with
guessing.
questions.
And some of them went with jetpacks.
Most of them got their own jetpacks.
Cool.
What is this ponytail?
Well, you broke it off. With your scalpel.
Yes, I was asking where it was.
Oh,
I know
it's
what
all
I did to it, okay? I'm sorry.
It's over here
We're
somewhere.
going to hear the end of this one.
what can we see from where we're at of the Alliance?
As you look, the area that you saw, it couldn't have been the actual base. You can sort of, in the distance, you can see the towering fortifications of the actual Alliance base are much further south. And they are flying flags, and they have siege weapons that are out, prepared, designed to ward off attacks. Definitely not able to reach that far away. And as you look across this entire section of land that you hadn't been able to get as much of a close look from across the other side is horribly shattered and uneven. Like, there are a number of different areas where elevation is just like completely broken, like a pair of tectonic plates that just smashed and fractured. Like, there are like sheer cliff faces that are only about 10-15 feet in various locations, up and down, like fissures across the entirety of the battlefield. And you can see the broken remains of what looks to have been a regular skirmishing zone between these two fortifications that is completely broken and uneven based on the fracturing of the ground beneath them. You can see the remains of old destroyed war machines and former banners and small encampments that have been completely shattered by the breaking of the earth. And you can see on the one side, a fair distance off, is the distant towers and fortifications of the Alliance base, and significantly closer on your end, the imposing black iron and spiked surfaces of the Horde Desolation Hold, which has its own siege weapons that are implemented. You're sort of looking at like a Blood Gulch situation, where the two bases are sort of set up within visual range of each other, but but far enough apart and with enough heavy fortifications that they can't just sit back and lob fire at each other. But they're sort of like designed to stare at each other intimidatingly and send skirmishes across
Blood
occasionally.
Gulch, for those of us that played Halo.
And the battlefield is currently relatively quiet, but the area that you had seen the attack come from was on some of the hills to the northeast. Likely, if you had to take a guess, maybe from like a scouting position or an ambush or like a forward base that they were trying to set up.
Do we actually see the Alliance forces from here?
Not the ones that attacked your Zeppelin.
Well, we need to retrieve Blood Hills regardless, so into the Alliance
If
position.
we get out in the field, they're going to start shooting from the main towers and stuff, but we
Well,
might be able to stealth across.
We'll see.
I can stealth across.
We'll see if we can find him before he gets completely pin-cushioned.
You and me, babe. Let's go get him.
John's gonna die.
Hey, thanks, man. I'm not the person she hates the most in the party.
No, you're not.
No.
Congratulations, Zachary.
actually, before you do
This is
that,
like a first.
Actually, no. There was a time when he was your most hated person in the party
Oh,
as well.
definitely.
So
When was that?
When he attacked Faust.
Yeah, no.
I will first I want to cast Augury
Alright.
and just basically call the spirits and ask them, will we be able to cross this field successfully?
Augury.
It gives me wheel, woe, or nothing, or both. Good, bad, or indeterminate in two different ways.
It's a magic 8-ball, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe so. Ask
magic
again
ball.
later.
It's a more accurate magic ball, but still a magic 8-ball.
Only slightly more accurate.
I just want to hear the spirit say ask again later.
Yes.
Get back here. There we go. There's the other D10. That is not a D10. That is a D6. That is a rock.
We haven't shown
couple?
Yeah, go. There we go. You get both wheel and woe.
Will be dangerous to cross. In that case, I'm going to cast Call of the Spirits to give myself a +5 the next time I attempt to stealth.
Seems
That
fair.
makes sense.
And I will have. If I start to see.
Don't forget to mark off 25 gold for the incense cost of augury.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, sure. Also, I am going to have Windwall Totem prepared as my basically. If I see arrows coming, Windwall Totem.
All right.
Or if I see bullets coming, Windwall Totem.
I don't think you're gonna see the bullets coming.
If I hear bullets coming, Windwall Totem.
You'll feel them coming.
If you see guns pointed in your general direction.
Generally a good idea.
So you've got a spell that will counteract your armor check penalty, basically.
Yes.
Mostly.
Entirely.
Okay.
And it, but my armor check penalty is currently -4.
Oh, okay.
So
because you got
+5.
breastplate.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought breastplate was -5. Never mind.
No, it's -4. I'm pretty certain.
You're right. I was misremembering how Mithril worked.
Yeah, it's -4.
Yep. So, and Windwall Totem basically does what it says. It makes a wall of wind, which causes any bird smaller than an eagle, and arrows and bolts are deflected upward and miss, while any other ranged weapon passing through it has a 30% miss chance, with the exception of giant thrown boulders, siege engine projectiles, and other massive ranged weapons. But if they're firing siege cannons at us, run faster.
In case you didn't figure that out anyway.
Yeah. So, all right, let us try to quietly pass this area without getting shot at. On our way to retrieve Bloodhilt in one form or another.
Who is certainly not stealthing.
No, he is not. He, in fact, jetpacked his way there.
So hey, we only have to roll higher than him.
You have to roll high enough that they don't notice you while distracted by Bloodhill. So everyone can roll me a stealth check.
17! So, no, 18, because I do have a +1. An additional +1.
23.
23.
18's as good as you're getting from me.
What'd you get?
I actually got a half decent roll. I actually got a 16.
28.
13.
18.
What was yours again?
23.
23.
The unarmored troll and the armored orc have the same stealth check.
I'm not wearing much armor.
I know. That's why I said the unarmored troll.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Unarmored troll and armored orc.
Yeah, so the group of you try and make your way as quietly as possible, and you sort of dash between different bits of broken ground and scattered earth that have been tossed up by the upheaval in the earth, trying to keep yourselves trying to keep the terrain between you and the main Alliance base as much as possible. Which is a little bit easier because you imagine they're probably mostly looking for incoming troops from Desolation Hold, which means they're not looking in your direction all the time. So you eventually make your way towards the direction of where you imagine the attacking the blows had come from, the lightning bolts that had struck. And you find eventually you hear the noise of it's a weird noise because it's sort of a reverberation sound, like hitting something that isn't quite physically there, like a boom, 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 happening roughly every 2 or 3 seconds. and you hear the sound of conversation in a tongue that you do not recognize.
What? I have a couple of different tongues. What tongue? I might recognize it.
What languages do you speak?
I speak. Pull the list. Common, Orcish, Tarahi, and Zendali.
Don't speak this language.
Okay.
I've got Goblin and Gnomish, if that helps at all.
Do not speak this language.
Okay.
It's.
You're lucky that I understand half of what these people are telling me.
It's elves. They're speaking in the Elvish language.
Sure.
It could be Drenai for all we know.
I mean, very well could be. Does it sound like Russians?
No.
Okay, not Drenai.
Sound rush.
Drenai sound like Russians.
There.
You speak any languages of import, Josh?
They've already been mentioned.
All right.
Except
Does
for
it
low-
sound
except for
like
low common.
just? I know we can't understand the language, but listening to the timbre of the voices, can we tell who's speaking it? I've heard elves and humans and dwarves and gnomes talk.
Yeah.
I assume I would also be familiar enough with
Yeah.
Alliance races
the
to get a
two
good
of you
idea.
can roll me an intelligence check.
13.
Can I take one of your d20s?
Yes. You need it.
Thank you.
What's your roll?
I rolled a 4. So,
So 6.
yeah.
You definitely recognize the hard sound of a dwarf speaking a tongue that is not their own. And what sounds like an elf definitely speaking what is probably their native tongue.
So it's just sort of like cocking my head to the side. A dwarf and an elf ahead.
Wow.
Sneak up slower. Sneak up closer.
Wow.
See what we're.
Can I
what
identify? Like, does the growling sound like some sort of a mechanical thing or a magical thing? Or
Go ahead and what knowledges do you have?
Knowledge
I had engineering and Arcana. I imagine would be the
Roll me
relevant
Arcana.
ones.
I have knowledge, Arcana, the planes, religion, and nature.
I like this die.
Arcana would work.
Would military work? Knowledge military?
Military might help you.
14.
21.
24.
24. That's a weapon report off of a magical barrier.
Okay.
The both of you recognize that.
Cool. Magical weapons, which is probably shooting the lightning bolts.
No, like it's a
Oh,
weapon
okay.
bouncing off a magic barrier.
Oh, okay. So they're trying to storm something. Magically enhanced.
Do we hear the sound of an orc grunting while swinging?
Not at the moment.
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's keep going and see what we see.
So as you quietly make your way over the ridge, you find there is an area of what looks to be like a small entrenched position. There's like a handful of sandbags that have been laid up in various locations, with like a handful of weapons kind of scattered around the ground for easy use if called upon to use. And there are 3 individuals currently in the center of this area. You spot there's a campfire in the very center with a pair of tents set up to one side. There is a dwarf adorned in full, like very heavy plate armor with a hammer and axe on both sides of his belt. With sort of this like horned helmet with sort of like a skull motif on the front of the helm, with sort of these big heavy like dark blue metal pauldrons and plate mail, having a conversation in what you can only assume is Elvish based on the lilt of the language and the difficulty the dwarf seems to be having speaking it, with a high elf, the sort of very tall, very pale,
Look like blood
features.
elves, but not blood elves.
Yeah, they look like blood elves, but rather than the iconic glowing green eyes, they have these glowing blue and white eyes with these long white and silver robes with this like platinum blonde hair that stretches down to roughly like chest and back of chest length, and the third individual being a human in sort of this shining plate mail of like blue and silver with the sort of goldish trim, and a large, like, long staffed maul in his left hand as he sort of leans it to one side, conversing with these three. And immediately past them, you see, wailing away like he's not tiring or feeling any exhaustion, is Warlord Bloodhill just swinging this massive hammer at the air, and you keep seeing this impact. Reverberation across a magical barrier. No sound is carrying through from his screaming and swinging the weapon about, but you can see his attacks are just repeatedly bouncing off of this barrier. They seem to have shoved him forcibly in the middle of the fight, likely gotten him positioned into the nook of a hill, and then forced this magical barrier up around the shape of the hill so it completely seals him off. Sort of like an impromptu jail cell, basically.
So I'm going to just sort of bring everybody back down so that we're not visible to them, or that we can't see them anymore. Spellcaster and 2 warriors. Shiana and I can take out the spellcaster if the rest of you can focus down the armored ones.
How many other... Were they the only people nearby?
They were the only ones that you saw.
Okay. Yeah, we can.
Right.
We can do that.
We will head for the robed one.
What
From
would
the
you do
top.
about?
I'll sort of hold my hand out to the size of a dwarf and see if you attack the small one.
Kill the little one.
He goes straight for Josh.
I'm okay with this.
How is would I know how this barrier would be controlled?
It's likely a spell that was cast by the elf.
The elf, probably.
Which means the only way to get rid of it would be to either get the elf to dispel it himself or kill the elf.
If you could focus on the human, and then Josh and Leaf assist wherever you feel necessary.
Yeah.
Then once we deal with the elf, we'll break away to help with the dwarf and human.
Okay. We're going to attack from different angles? Are we going to flank or just go straight in?
The 4 of us will go straight in, the 2 of you can flank it, if it would help. I've already cast Markkin on all of us the night before, so we all get a +4 bonus when flanking with each other.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Rockbiter Weapon on my sword and get ready to charge. 3, 2, 1.
Cast Mark of Kind Striking on myself.
Yeah, that's why I'm giving it
Actually, where's this?
Any other buff spells before we go?
Any other buff spell before we go, indeed?
Just did 3, 2, 1.
All my other buff spells are loud, so.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, actually,
do you have?
no, that's not.
What kind of? Did you say you were giving? What kind of bonuses do your AC increasing things get? Those are mostly morale bonuses,
They're
right?
typically morale, yes.
Cool. I can give sacred bonuses to AC.
Oh, I do cast Inner Fire on myself. Yeah, because that lasts 3 minutes.
What kind of a?
+1 divine bonus to attack rolls and +3 divine bonus to AC.
So, this spell says it gives a sacred bonus, and I don't know if that is supposed to be a divine bonus because I've never heard of something being a sacred bonus before.
That is this
the same
game's version of
I
a
think
divine
the same
bonus.
thing.
Okay, cool.
Well, I mean, this came straight out of this game's book, so
Yeah.
it references divine and sacred differently for some reason.
I'm not sure.
It's because it's inconsistent.
The core rule probably references as divine, but other things might reference it as sacred.
Sometimes, even within the same books, they'll use 3-5 terminology and then they use their own terminology, but they're essentially the same.
Alright.
Yeah, it just wouldn't make sense for them to stack. So,
It's just like even in 3.5, there's something references an infernal bonus, and then the FAQ they're like, yeah, we said infernal, it's really a divine bonus.
Does anyone have a particularly low will save? Because it also gives spell resistance, and that could be helpful in case.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's sacred is actually a thing that appears in various things. Sacred is just the
and your AC isn't the
sacred
greatest.
and infernal are just the terms for a good and evil sourced divine bonus.
Yeah. Like I said, they do it in 3.5 occasionally too.
In that case, I'm going to cast Grace of the Holy Light on you,
Okay,
and that is +1 to
Or
AC,
sacred and profane, actually, are the names.
and
of the
a 9
Yeah.
spell resistance. It's not the greatest spell resistance, but it's
My
better than
AC
nothing.
is currently 20.
That's probably what they had to FAQ. Yes, infernal is just we meant to say profane and we were being silly.
All right.
And also, I'm going to go ahead and because actually your AC is fairly
15.
decent. I'm going to
Yeah.
put that on myself as well because my AC is garbage.
Okay, yeah.
In that case, are we all ready?
And save everything, all my other mana for healing. Boom.
Then
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Charge!
Launch over with the javelin.
I issue a war cry as we
Well, if
charge.
that's gonna- okay. I'm gonna take a shot then.
Alright, so all of you
Taruga!
all of you will get one turn in the surprise round before we roll initiative.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
How far away are we?
you are
Charging distance?
probably about 45 feet.
Oh, so
Charging distance. So, we're charging the mage.
Alright.
I'm probably hucking a javelin and then closing while drawing this dagger.
No. I issue a war cry. I issue a war shout as we go forward. Which
Everybody gets what, +2 to damage?
why can't I find battle shout? There it is. +2 morale bonus on damage rolls. Yes. And that's just an incidental action I can do while charging. I will cast other buff spells in a second once the mage is gone. Okay. So we're attacking.
Yes. I just rolled.
Does a 24 confirm a crit against the short one?
I might still hit though.
Yes.
Did you get a +2?
Good.
+4.
I'd be concerned if it did.
You should be concerned if it didn't.
And because if we charge into a flanking position
Hug a
and then
spear.
we get a +2
My shot
for
misses.
charging.
You get you can't charge into a flanking position. You have to charge into the closest space you can reach.
Okay, well I guess we just get the +2 for charging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not +4,
But-
but +2.
They're surprised, so you still get your sneak attack.
Yes. And it seems they're flat-footed too, so their AC might be lower. Although we're attacking the mage, so their AC is probably not much lower.
Mages typically have decent decks because they wear armor.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they're flat-footed, their AC isn't necessarily much lower.
Flatfoot AC
Is the one without
moves
your
dex.
dex.
Is that one without your decks?
Oh, never mind.
You're thinking touch.
That's it.
Um,
13 to hit.
Ow.
Does it hit
13.
the mage?
I hit the mage.
The mage.
Does he have frost armor up? Is the real question.
She.
No, it was male.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah. All three of them were male.
I rolled a 3.
Flat-footed AC. You rolled what, a 13?
Yeah.
Yes, that hits.
Yay! You,
23 to hit. the
you
mage.
probably definitely hit.
Yes, that definitely hits.
Alright.
I assume a 6 misses the human.
Yes, it does.
So it goes wide.
I deal 22 damage to the dwarf as I hurl a spear while closing, and then I draw the dagger and stand right in front of his face
16, 17,
and get all up in his business.
29.
Alright.
29 damage to the mage.
Alright.
Are we getting any bonuses on damage?
You get a +2.
Okay.
Oh, wait, that's right.
+2 damage.
31.
How did you do that much?
My weapon is currently a rockbiter weapon, which means it's 2 sizes larger, and it's a +1, and it's my weapon does a fuck ton of damage.
Yeah, 9 damage.
You get your sneak attack?
You had your sneak attack damage?
Oh, I
You get your
did.
sneak attack, yeah.
26.
What's my...
So roll 2d6.
2d6.
Oh,
Oh, keep it safe.
2d6 more. Oh, that makes more sense.
I'm also using hand and a half, so it's...
Okay.
You know.
So then 14 damage.
Alright. Ow. Both of you are chilled, by the way.
Okay.
As you strike him, and you feel the cold radiating off of the protective spell that has been keeping him safe during most of this fight. Chilled the blood in your body as you feel yourself moving slower.
We didn't kill him,
Nope.
but I feel like we hurt him a lot.
You did.
31.
Brick, what were you doing?
Starting the the warrior,
The human?
the human.
Yeah.
Does a 23 hit?
Yes.
12 damage.
12 damage. Alright.
Rockbiter weapon is a really good spell. I can only use it on my weapon though.
Rockbiter weapon's a little broken at low levels.
I forgot to elemental smite him. Oh well. It's just an extra couple of d6 of elemental damage.
And how much damage did you do to the dwarf?
22.
Me too. Alright.
You know, like especially and if when I start taking levels in warrior or when I get to blade master, it's going to be even worse. Because the orcish full blade is 2d8. Non-magical weapon. So when I rockbiter weapon that. If I get a thorium orcish full blade.
Rockbiter weapon is a ridiculous spell.
Especially for a first level spell.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, most spellcaster it can only work on your weapon, and most spellcasters aren't as melee focused. But if you are, ouch! Like normally you'd be using on like a quarterstaff, which would do a lot less damage than a great.
Well, that's why the
sword.
spell Shillelagh exists.
Yeah, it's effectively shillelagh.
Are we rolling initiative now?
Yes, we are.
Yep. Okay.
I might not be last for once.
Don't worry, Leaf usually has you covered on that end.
No, I have been behind Leaf every time.
You're not.
Not this time, no.
You are not. You are not this time.
No, this time I might be ahead of more than one person. I rolled an 18.
I rolled an 18.
I rolled an 18.
I rolled the wrong die.
So I'm being
My agility is 14.
14.
Same.
I think you go to intelligence after agility?
My intelligence is 10.
13. 13. 14. 16. I mean 16.
Okay, so
Plus 3.
so
1, 2,
Josh Brick than me.
That's what I said. But it took a while to get there.
What'd you get?
20.
So she goes
So
first.
it's wait, is
9.
that what you rolled an 18? Is that your
No. I rolled a 6.
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
no, sorry, I rolled a 16. Wow.
Oh no, my total is 24.
Oh, you rolled an 18. I rolled a 16 and got an 18.
Oh okay. No, I got a 24.
Alright. And what did you get?
Guess.
0?
Is it a 3?
Is it a negative?
Is it 3?
Is it 0?
It's actual 0. I rolled a 1. In other words, I rolled the wrong die again.
So in that case,
Just take that.
it's Brick, Shiana,
Yeah. I don't
Brick,
need that
Shiana,
anymore.
Josh, me,
Troll.
Troll, and
You
then
get this back when you start
Leaf.
rolling well.
It's all right. I've been told that the healer going last is good.
Yeah, I could roll.
Yeah.
It's in timeout.
We need a dice jail.
No, this is dice jail.
I just got
I'll make a dice jail.
What was your initiative?
Right over there.
20?
20? Okay, so Rick's going before you.
Yeah. Brick, Shiana, Josh, me,
20 with everything added to it.
Jean Gatal, and
If he shows up.
I like going first.
Huh?
Nothing. I just like going first.
Oh.
You got higher than me. Didn't expect this out of you, Ruth.
what's your AC?
+4.
You don't, so this is an interesting predicament we found ourselves in. where you're not going first, you're not doing the most damage, and you don't have the highest AC. What's going on with your character, Holly?
I don't know, but it doesn't feel right.
I have the
It
highest.
just doesn't.
I have the highest AC and damage output right now. What's going on?
Don't make me scalp you again. Yes, I will. It just looks like I gave him a buzz cut.
Okay, which what was the three of you?
Huh?
It was
Oh.
Josh, Brick.
No,
No, Brick goes
so it
first.
goes
Oh no, sorry. It
Brick?
was Josh, and
Yeah.
then
Josh, then me. Yeah. Brick, Shauna, Josh,
Garrett.
Copland did not get higher than me.
Garrick.
You sure? Can you look at every reason?
Drag,
and then leave.
and then leave. So the
Well,
dwarf's going
no,
first.
and then them, and then that snail sitting around about 20 paces off.
No, the dwarf's going first.
Then the wall.
the dwarf is actually going first.
Then the force field. Then Bloodhilt.
Let's see if I call
Then
it
me.
right. I'm calling it Dwarf's a Warrior, the Human's a Paladin, and the Elf's Mage. Let's see how off I am.
Turns out the dwarf's a mage.
The Dwarf's a Tinker. The Human is a
I mean, is there any
hunter,
insight I
not
could
using a
have into
hammer for
what they
some
could
reason.
possibly be doing?
And the Human's a Necromancer. Or the Elf's a Necromancer.
I mean, could I get any insight into what they could possibly be?
Yeah, actually, you can roll me. What
Could I-
knowledge do you have?
Religion, the planes, engineering, arcana, and local.
How many of you have knowledge military?
Me.
I do.
You can roll that. You can roll that.
Religion
you can
and
roll
Arcana.
local.
Okay.
Those would not. Those would not help
Religion for the Paladin?
You can probably roll religion.
18.
25.
Oh, that wasn't very good.
What'd you get?
Yeah, okay, this die is better. This die is much,
Natural
much
20?
better. I prefer this die. That was a 26.
Did you roll a natural 20?
Yes. I like this die. This die is my friend.
12.
So we've made military, religion, and local rolls.
So what was your roll? Local?
26.
26?
25.
25 military?
12.
12 military? You don't recognize any of these.
Yeah.
18 religion.
18 religion. You definitely recognize the human as a paladin.
Silverhand?
Not in Silverhand, but definitely Alliance paladin.
Not Silverhand. The Silverhand are a little bit more noble than to just randomly blow zeppelins out of the sky.
They're also a little bit scattered and not actually existent.
That too. That too. Also, I feel like they would definitely frown against blowing random zeppelins out of the sky.
Who would?
The Silverhand.
We're fine.
They're far more like meet your enemy gloriously on the field of battle, less get a cheap shot while they're vulnerable. Which is why they're scattered and not really exit
with
right
your
now.
with your very high rolls, you recognize the high elf is obviously a mage. That one's clear.
Yeah.
But both of you recognize the most dangerous combatant on this battlefield is actually that dwarf.
Okay.
Because you recognize the unique armor style, the heavy markings and runic engravings, and the particular choice of weapons that marks the elite dwarven warriors who oftentimes would be leaders of their clans, but not necessarily who are known as the Mountain Kings.
Yeah, Mountain King.
Ooh, fun.
They're fun.
How,
Also
so,
a good test for my Blade Master training.
Okay, so bad news. Gotcha.
But that means the armor's gonna be worth something.
I mean, everything here is going to be worth something.
Yeah.
Which, as he's going first, I need... How many of you need to make a fortitude save?
Wrong the call.
I am currently in melee with him, drawing his ire, as the party tank is wont to do.
I'm glad I made the. I'm glad I had Jean Gatal head towards the dwarf. That seemed like the best decision.
All of those of you who are in melee.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
2, 3.
So 4 of us.
So 4 of you. How far back were you staying, Leaf?
Maybe about 40 feet. Or
No,
you-
probably about 30 feet, so I could actually run up and heal people.
Okay, so you're outside of it. So just the 4 of you who are in melee need to make a fortitude save.
17.
16.
21.
Alright, so you save, which means you don't take any damage.
What'd you get, Brick?
8.
Oh. Shucks. I guess you healed him first.
I mean, 8's a number. We don't know that the other two saved.
What is your spell save DC, Mr. Mountain King?
3. It's got to be 3.
Wait, were you in the radius of it?
Yeah.
And you have the spell resistance as well, technically. So
Oh, yeah.
a spell resistance of 9, but a spell resistance nonetheless. So
I mean,
I don't think it's a spell.
oh,
I mean, if it's spell-like ability, though, it still applies.
Yeah, spell resistance does apply for you, which
Yay.
he penetrates.
ah well.
Dang it.
When you roll a 15, then this SR is 9.
Alright, so what was your roll?
16.
What was yours?
17.
Okay. And so, yeah, so both Shiana, you succeed. Shiana and Brick fail.
Okay.
So you take no damage.
We found the line. 17. My rippling muscles deflected.
As he brings his hammer up and slams it into the ground, there is a clap of thunder that scatters across the battlefield in front of him.
If he gets, does that provoke an attack opportunity because it's a spell-like ability, or is it not a spell-like ability?
It's
It's a feat.
technically a supernatural attack.
Okay.
Shucks.
Always have to try.
It mimics a spell, but it's a supernatural ability.
Okay.
Alright, so that's going to be 15 points of sonic damage to Brick and to Sean.
He needs to be debuffed.
Which then brings it to Brick. It's your turn.
Okay.
I think when we're chill, we can only make one attacker.
Chilled as a condition.
It's like slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically you make your standard or your move action.
Yeah.
And you get a -2 to a bunch of things.
Is it to hit?
Yes.
Oh.
-2 to hit, -2 to AC, -2 to reflex saves.
Fuck.
Gonna attack the human again.
Attack the human. Alright, roll a hit.
I need to get rid of this mage.
Nope.
Well, if you can both flank the mage, so the mage can't get away from you,
That is a
Yeah, we'd spend our turn.
10 will not hit, unfortunately.
5-foot shifts.
Oh, yeah.
Mage comes along. Flank it.
Could I also sense runes on the what was it?
The dwarf?
Yeah.
On the dwarf.
Yeah.
You do sense a number of runes engraved on his axe and hammer.
All right.
Are you punching the paladin or what?
I tried to.
Oh, you tried to punch the paladin.
Unfortunately, did not work out.
Bing! Armor.
Alright, that brings it to Torridon's turn. He's going to... The human just kind of hefts his hammer Brick and just brings it down and up and just kind of brings it up underneath your jaw. That is going to be a... 28 to hit.
Yikes.
Yep.
That's a number.
Which will deal 12 points of bludgeoning damage to you.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
You're unconscious?
Yep.
He sends you sprawling to the ground and looking around sees his mage companion is in danger and moves over to assist in that particular fight.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, wait, he just one-shot you?
He was already injured from the
You took
thunderclap.
15 from the
Oh,
dwarf,
the
and
blast.
13
That's
from
right.
the paladin.
Well,
Yep.
good thing we have a leaf.
Huzzah, healing.
This is my lucky leaf.
Shiana, it's your turn.
Smack.
So,
Shift to flank.
and then shank the mage.
Yeah, shanking mage.
So you get a +4 to attack.
And you also automatically deal sneak attack damage.
I'm getting a +4 to this also.
Yep, but then you have a -2, so it's just a +2. That's what.
You hit.
20 something, 24?
Yes, that hits.
Okay.
So damage and sneak attack.
So am I doing my regular damage or am I adding it?
You do
Stop.
regular damage and then you add 2d6.
And you still have the +2 to it from the.
So
the
I'm doing
battle shot.
3d6.
Yes.
Okay. So that's not my. 10, 14, 16 damage.
Plus
Did you
another
add 2?
Oh, 18, I'm sorry.
Larkos doesn't even get to cast a spell.
Dead.
Yep.
Yay!
Good.
The mage dies and the wall of force comes down.
Good.
Releasing.
That's why we wanted to kill the mage first.
That's right.
Which means he needs to roll initiative and get in on this. 2. Okay, he's going to come in last. Well, before Leaf, actually.
Just before
Yeah,
we-
You say last as if he could get a lower initiative than I can.
Actually, he actually, even with 2, even rolling a 2 on the die, he comes in before Jangatal.
I'm guessing he has improved initiative and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
My turn. I assume
No,
because
I
Paladin.
got
Because his
quick
initiative
shot.
bonus.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right.
Because his initiative bonus is
Quick
+8.
shot at the.
So wait, the
Dang it, man! I missed again. I mean, I rolled a 2.
Yeah.
I can't.
Unfortunately.
I can't.
how much damage did you
If you can't roll above a 10, unfortunately.
Exactly. It's like there's just no reason to calculate the blow.
Garrick, it's your turn.
I need that dwarf to make a will save.
Alright, what are you casting?
Doom.
Alright. Here's your will save.
It's a
Dwarf.
first level spell, so
11 plus your spell casting modifier.
which is 3, so
14.
14.
To make him shaken.
Yes.
And
6 on the die. What's your will save look like?
Hopefully not good.
It's technically a fear effect, so he gets bonuses against that.
If he does.
His will save bonus is only +5, which would make that an 11. I don't think he gets fear specific bonuses. So.
Cool. So he's shaken. -2 to every darn thing.
He is specifically. I'm going to pump. I'm going to pump 3 more mana points into it. He is shaken for the next
Yep.
4 minutes.
You have to do that at the beginning before you cast it.
I mean,
You have to do it as you're casting it.
I can-
Also, the duration is always at your level. You
Yeah.
have-
Oh, it always
You
is? Oh,
don't-
never mind.
you don't
Never
spend
mind.
mana for duration.
Okay, in that case, I don't.
You
Yeah.
spend mana for variable damage.
He's shaken for 4 minutes, which is a -2 penalty on attack rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and ability checks. And then I'm going to move into flanking with the dwarf, or so that Jangatal gets flanking bonus.
Alright. This brings it to Warlord Bloodhill, who is going to step up to the human, because orcs hate humans, and Bloodhill especially. And he's just going to bring this massive spiked maul up above his head and slam down toward. It's a very interesting comparison watching the
Maul v Maul fight.
the giant heavily plated orc coming up to battle against the giant heavily plated human, both of which are wielding giant hammers.
Hammer fight.
oh, how familiar.
That'll be a 22 to hit on his first hit, and a 26 to hit on his second hit.
Please don't get honey mustard sauce on my dice.
Yeah, well. 9, 10, 11, and 10. So 23 points of damage done to the paladin. And that is Bloodhilt's turn.
My turn to try to shank this dude.
Yep.
So you've got a +2 to your damage and the +4 from flanking.
Darn. Not quite a critical threat, but 26 hits.
Yes. Someone doing fireworks?
It's the same people as usual.
It's the idiots, and they're setting off the big ones.
Yes, because we're underground and we can still hear them.
I'm amazed Griffin's sleeping through it.
Well, I mean, it's an amount of damage. 5.
What with the +2?
Oh, 7. Sorry.
7 points of damage to the dwarf.
Yep. Just poke him with a sharp stick.
Oh, I mean, it's a dagger.
Wait a second. What happened to my turn?
You're last.
You're last.
Because
John Gatal's before you.
Oh, he's before me. Never mind.
Yeah, because you
God,
rolled a
he's-
0.
Right.
Everyone's
I
before
thought
me.
he actually rolled high. I forgot.
Yeah.
No, this was
We're
the
still in the first
revelation
round.
where I'm not going last, remember?
Now it is your turn.
Okay.
Bricks down.
Brick's down. And the elf mage is down.
Yes.
Yeah.
The elf mage is dead, Brick is down.
Dead or just down?
He is dead.
She ripped out his insides.
She exposed his insides to the sunlight, and as we all know, when you expose someone's insides to the sunlight, the sun makes them not work anymore.
I don't think that's actually how that works.
You want to test the theory?
I'd like to believe.
I mean, he's a medic. He has tested that theory. He does know whether or not it works.
I mean, I kind of, generate light and fully light and whatever.
Currently, Brick's outsides are also outside. Insides
Yes,
are also
put it back in.
outside. So.
Yeah.
No, my insides are all jumbled up.
Which means 7, 3, 10, 14, 15 hit points.
He got back the thunderclap damage. Now I need to get back the hammer damage. That's how it works, right?
Alright, that's mana.
This is the fight where I come in, do one really big amount of damage in the beginning, and then spend the rest of the fight buffing people.
So it's dwarfy turn again.
Yep, that brings it back to Cruz's turn. Yeah. He's going to attack the person who isn't here right now.
That's okay. He'll figure it out later.
He has a -2 to his attack right now. Yep.
Did you
If
roll
that was a
one?
natural 20.
Yeah, it was a
It's the
one.
opposite of a 1.
The opposite
Yep,
of
a
one.
natural 20. Or -1, depending.
I mean, I gave him a -2.
He rolls it again to confirm.
It doesn't matter that he rolled a 20.
So...
You're getting crit in the face.
Okay. Time for more healing.
So I need... Assuming you're going to be conscious after this hit hits you, I need you to make a fortitude save.
Yes.
What'd you roll?
24.
24. Let's see if he deals more than 24 damage to you.
Oh.
Save for massive damage.
No, that's not. Massive damage is you take 50.
Also, I'm not going to do that save. I don't do saves for massive damage in this campaign. Because they're stupid.
I agree.
They're particularly dumb. Also, the save DC for massive damage is 15. And it's always 15, which is kind of arbitrary. Because by the level where you aren't just dying from massive damage, from 50 or more damage anyway, you're making a DC 15 pretty easily.
Depending on what kind of character you are.
True.
It's not loaded. You don't scare me.
As far as you're aware.
There are no darts in it.
Invisible bullets.
42 points of slashing damage to you.
I mean, that's almost massive damage.
Alright.
Are you dead?
Are you still standing?
Yes.
Standing.
Are you?
What is your...
Are you fully dead, or are you still standing?
I'm still standing.
You're still alive.
I'm
okay.
staring down this orc.
You are, however, because you were not able to roll more than the damage he dealt,
Bash.
Simultaneously dazed and staggered.
What's your hit points at?
Low.
Like about
Numerically,
Six.
for the person who can put down a healing thing for
The
you.
troll doesn't do numbers.
Yeah, the troll doesn't do numbers.
What's your armor class? Might actually miss you.
Currently, 19.
19. Second attack is only a 17. He misses you. Just barely.
Thank you, dagger.
He's got 1 hit point.
And that will be Cruz's turn. Brick.
Alright,
Get up.
I get up. And I will.
As he gashes across your torso with the axe, and the force of the blow sends you reeling, but the hammer comes back, and you're already reeling too far back, and it just passes by you.
You can flank.
Well, I
with-
pulled up my shield for the first blow, but it was too slow, but it was just in time for the second blow.
So that was the human no, that was the dwarf.
That was the
did
dwarf.
You can flank the human with blood hilt. You won't get the +4 though.
If
You'll just get a +2.
And I shall cast Mark of Magic Striking.
I forget, instant
Alright, that gonna be your whole turn?
instantaneous
I think that's all I
actions
can
can be
do,
done
isn't it?
outside of my turn, right?
Getting up and casting that.
And then swift actions are the ones that are limited to my turn.
Free actions and swift actions have to be done in your turn.
Immediate action.
Immediate actions. That's
Oh.
what I meant.
I'm gonna Earth Shock that dwarf, by the way, because that is an immediate action.
What does that do?
Hang on, I'll tell you. I'm going to cast it with 4 mana. It does like a D4 per level of damage. It's just straight up hit. Can you find it?
Is it a d4 per level?
Yeah.
That seems really powerful.
Oh no, it's just a D4. Just a D4 points of bludgeoning damage. In addition, the target is if the target is cast, you're concentrating on a spell. The DC of the target's concentration check to avoid losing spell increases by +4. I'm just gonna do some damage to him. I'm just gonna cast it with 1 mana then because I thought it was a D4 per level. It's not.
That would be ridiculous.
It would be.
It'd be awesome.
So
That'd be like casting magic missile as an immediate action.
yeah, 4 points of damage.
Cruz takes 4 more.
In response to him hitting the troll for almost dead.
Alright, Brick, you cast your spell.
Yep.
Torridon is facing off against his orc opponent now because there's a big orc who's got the same weapon that he does, and he's feeling confrontational.
They're compensating.
So he's going to turn around and bring that hammer to bear against Warlord Bloodhilt, miss the first attack, and miss the second attack with a 4 and a 2 on the dice.
Seems legit.
Which brings us back around to Shiana. It's your turn.
All right. Who's in front of me right now? 'Cause
Currently the Paladin,
Okay.
who is currently going toe-to-toe with Warlord Bloodhilt if you want to flank.
Yes.
And you get a +1 because it's human.
Yep.
Yes, I want to flank.
So you get a +3 and additional points to the attack.
Okay, +3 additional. That's 18, 21.
That will hit, just barely.
Do I still get my other
Yep.
2? Okay.
You do your sneak
Sneak
attack.
attack +2 as well.
Or 12.
12. Alright. 47. Alright.
You know, it's after legal time to be setting this off. We could actually just call the cops.
I just looked it up. It said it was that you can set it off up until 11 o'clock.
Gwinnett County is 9 o'clock.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I looked up the Georgia.
don't be that neighbor,
Josh.
Austin.
Oh, no. The problem is they do this every weekend.
Yeah, the problem is these are drunken idiots.
Still.
Josh,
No,
you're
they'll
up.
do this till
Okay.
midnight.
What's lying around
It would be the
besides
first
that
time
thing over there?
call.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over and check out what the mage got on.
Alright.
Rather than, shooting the dwarf with the...
I can't hit anything.
Well, that's
anyway.
not profitable at all.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just losing.
He's taking analysis. So far, shooting has proven ineffective. Taking stuff has always proven effective.
So you find. Go ahead and roll me a search check since you're just taking the time to look through his stuff.
17.
And you find his spell book, obviously, which is a thing. You could probably sell that to somebody. But you also find a potion on his belt.
Okay.
And a magic scroll.
A scroll, a book, and okay.
Ooh, you have used magic device as a class skill.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
You could figure out what this scroll does right now.
And just go ahead and burn something with it.
They are outside
That'd
the
be fun.
Who knows, maybe it's a spell of summon money.
I don't think so.
They usually don't start this early. It's unusual for them to start as early as 9 p.m.
And usually they start at like 11 and try to go to 1.
Okay. And anything else?
And that's about all you find
Okay.
at the moment. You also find his gold pouch, but you have to count that when you're not in the
Yeah, I'm
middle
not
of
gonna
the fight.
count it. I'm just
You
gonna,
found a
yeah.
scroll? A magic scroll?
A magic squirrel.
A magic
No, it turns out it was actually just a recipe for flan.
Well, we'll find
I-
out.
But it was written.
I-
It was written in arcane ruins.
I mean, I have
Ron
cooking
is
skills, so
What?
Flan is magic.
It is.
Uh,
Love flan.
Are you going to do anything with it? You technically, because your speeded search, you could theoretically attempt to use the scroll. You wouldn't be able to identify what it does.
You just set it off.
can Tinkers use scrolls?
Yeah.
Use
Yeah,
magic
use
device as a class skill.
I can.
You can theoretically try and use that scroll on someone. Do you think it's offensive, or do you think it's buffing?
Yeah, see, I gotta try to figure that out.
You can use magic device check to determine if it's up to try to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I'll say you can use a use magic device check as a free action to try and figure out if it should be used on an enemy or a friend.
I think I'll use magical device.
In other words, look for the skull and crossbones.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check.
Or these
See what
large
it-
amounts of
see if I can
fire.
figure out what it might be.
Yeah.
25.
This is for enemies. You know it's for
You
enemies.
know what? I want to put it on somebody. Okay.
But is it an AoE enemy or is it a single target enemy?
It's for a single enemy that you want to
Alright.
go away.
Okay.
It's on the dwarf.
So I want to try to use it on the dwarf. Just
Sure. Roll me on the use magic device.
Oh boy.
Use magic device. Let's see if I can roll as well.
Bum,
Yeah, that's
bum,
gonna
bum, bum,
happen.
ba-la-dum, bum, ba-la-dum, ba-la-dum,
Well,
bum, 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 bum,
16.
ba-la-bum, ba-la-dum,
I believe that's enough for the spell. It is enough for the spell. He needs to make a fortitude save.
bum, 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 bum,
Unfortunately, it's at the lowest
Spellcraft to see what just got cast?
It's a natural one.
ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
He rolled a natural 1. Did he?
It was a natural one.
So is this over?
What happens?
So there's a burst of white magical energy, and in a cloud of smoke, the dwarf is replaced with a sheep.
Don't hit the sheep.
Dinner.
No, thank you. I think that's cannibalism.
It's a sheep now.
It won't be if you try to bite it.
Yeah, once you kill it, it does something else.
He does make the will save, so he is still himself.
You realize in 3.5 things don't turn back
I know, I'm aware.
when they die.
Oh, okay. But
Well, they die and then they turn back.
It's a sheep. We can eat
Shh. He didn't need to know that. Nobody needs to know that. Don't hit the sheep. Yes. Actually, because I wanted to do a spellcraft on
Additional
this,
save when they take damage or something?
What?
Will you get additional saves when they take damage?
is a 15 enough to spellcraft what this spell is?
Not if it's a normal polymorph spell.
That is a baleful polymorph.
Cool.
It has turned him into a sheep.
Do I know like how long this will last? Or
Um,
under what conditions it will continue to exist under?
It will continue to exist, generally speaking, because I dislike literal, actual, you're just not a character anymore, and I tend to put a few limits on these spells. It will last until he takes damage, at which point it will potentially break.
Okay, cool. Makes sense.
So yeah, don't hit it.
It basically, if the sheep dies, then he returns to his form.
Cool.
And a sheep doesn't have a lot of hit points.
But if I make the sheep my new pet and enslave it,
It's still him, you know,
Yeah,
and
he may-
also it will wear off over
Throw
time.
if we throw the sheep in the rend in the barrens, though,
Or if we just
when
leave
he
it alone
turns
because it's a
back-
sheep.
when he turns back, he'll be in lava.
He did make the will save to retain his mental capacity. So he is still him, just in the body of a sheep.
Also,
So it's a sheep that's going to try to headbutt us.
Also, he
Oh,
has
no.
also he has really good armor and weapons that we could probably use.
Were those transformed with him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the sheep
Just-
the last thing left? Or?
No, the paladin's still
We
around.
just need to deal with the human
Garrick,
first.
it's your turn.
We need to deal with the human first,
Kill-
then we can
kill
just
the
ground
paladin.
pound the dwarf.
We'll take care of the sheep in a minute.
Yeah, bind him and then deal with whatever.
I'm just going to.
Basically, I prefer my 3/5 polymorphs to work like 5th edition polymorphs, where if the animal that you're turned into loses all of its hit points, you turn back into the thing you are.
I'm just going. I'm
Why
going
is being a
to.
pacifist so hard?
What? You punch things, right?
Yes.
How hard do you punch things?
Like,
Is the answer
damage?
hard enough?
Like, what do you mean, damage?
What? Yeah. What's the damage of your punching?
It's 1d6 plus strength.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't need an extra bite attack.
Yeah, but mine's stupid.
The wedding ring is not a die.
It's just fun to drop things in here.
What you got?
Oh, a 5-foot diameter sphere only takes up 1 square, right?
Yes.
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 I'm gonna drop a flaming sphere on top of the paladin.
Alright.
I needed to make a reflex save.
Only the paladin, so all of his saves are good.
Yeah.
That's what paladins do.
Paladins just save monkeys.
So it's a second level spell. So 12 plus 3 is 15?
Yep.
Basically, I just conjure a flaming sphere in front of me and it rolls through the paladin's square.
Yep. I need to figure out what's your save DC on that one?
15.
15. Passes. Paladin.
It's a 4 save, so it's going to be +1 for every 3 levels he has. Plus his charisma modifier because he's a paladin. Plus his dex modifier if he has one.
Does armor penalty not apply to reflexes?
No, it does not.
Mm.
As long as you're proficient with the armor.
Good.
Okay, so it's going to be a plus 10, which will make that a 19.
Damn it. So he dodges out of the way
Yep.
as the great ball of fire rolls through his area.
Do you take
That's
half
okay.
damage or?
No, it just avoids.
Alright.
Are they still chilled, by the way?
Until the end of the next turn.
It was last turn.
Yeah, last turn.
We're not chilled anymore.
Yeah.
Because chill only happens for 1 turn.
Yeah. The status effect lasts 1 turn,
Yeah.
basically. Unless it gets reapplied every turn.
Okay. I will then move because just because of the standard action, I will then move up to be another body surrounding the human.
Alright. Which then brings it to Bloodhilt, who is going to try and finish this guy off. 17 hits. Oh, it rolls 17 on the die, and 15 on the die also hits. So, 11 plus 3 is 14, plus 9 plus 3 is 12. 14 plus 12 is going to be another 27. And Paladin is not looking hot, but he's still alive.
Paladins are tanks too.
Which brings us to Jang.
I'm dazed.
You are dazed. So you're not. You don't get to do anything basically, do you?
Yeah, I take no penalties, but I can take no actions.
Okay. So
Can you take move actions?
You got hit
No.
in the head real hard.
So you stand there reeling from the force of the blow. As you slowly come to at the end of your turn, you realize there's a sheep in front of you where the dwarf was.
Well, I'm dazed, so I'm aware of it the whole time. Stunned is the one where you're like...
Yeah.
Don't eat the sheep.
Leaf, it's your turn.
Go get the sheep.
How is this paladin looking?
Very bad.
Do do your half-orc rage and hit him in the face.
No, that's stupid. I will never do that. That is a bad plan.
You can't get
This is the
flanking.
derpy raid.
I can, however, actually attempt to try to do damage. Let's see. His saving throw is going to be insane, but this saves only for half damage, so I'm going to try something. Let's see.
How bad is he looking, by the way?
Not good.
Immediate action, Earth Shock.
Roll a d4.
Just to see. As if he only has 4 hit points left. 4 damage.
He's not dead.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm going to cast the Ray of Subjugation, which is 1d8 non-lethal damage. Will save for half, but it'll still deal some damage.
Do another 4 damage. That kills
We'll
him.
see. Well, actually, it does additional,
Subjugate.
like, plus level, so 1d8 plus level. Basically, it's anti-healing at a range, and it's non-lethal damage.
So
It's
1d8.
you go to sleep.
So 1d8 plus your
That's-
however much mana you put into it.
8 damage?
What does that put it at? That's a grand total, like 78 plus 8, 86. How many hit points do you have, Paladin?
He's out.
The answer is 84.
He's still standing.
Ah, damn it. I mean,
No.
Not by a lot, but
spontaneously become a shaman and get Earth Shock so you can Earth Shock is the best first level spell. Next to Rock Biter Weapon.
it's Cruz's turn. He's a sheep, but he's still him.
Gonna headbutt the troll.
He's going to
Try to run away. Headbutt the goblin and turn him into a sheep.
He's gonna try to run off and get me.
I mean, there's only one person he could possibly try to down right now, so there's only one person at 1 hit point.
I'm not at 1 hit point.
Oh, you're like at 2 or 3 hit points?
I'm a troll.
Yeah, he
Yes,
he
so
just
you're like
regen.
at
He
2 or
just
3 hit
regen
points?
2 hit
Regenerated
points.
a
So 3.
He's going to try and depart this battlefield right now.
Okay.
Attack of opportunity.
Sure.
Do you get one when you're dazed?
I'm not dazed anymore.
Yeah,
My
neither
turn
is
is
there.
over.
You were dazed and something else.
Dazed and staggered.
I can't be
also
staggered.
which also lasted on his turn.
Staggered. You're only staggered to get 0 hit points.
I believe the Mountain King ability.
But that
Yeah,
could,
you
like,
are staggered
spell.
for 1 round.
Weird. Whatever. I mean, I can still do this. I'm staggered. Grapple.
Alright.
Yes.
Grab the sheep.
I don't know what a sheep's grapple check looks like.
Not good.
It's probably.
Um,
It's got negative. But it doesn't have.
20.
hands.
Isn't it a large-sized creature or something?
23
Well,
grapple
it's
check.
Small. It has escape.
It's a medium.
It's
Sheep
not
or medium.
small.
Pure medium.
That is, I mean, that will touch.
Look up the
Are there sheep in the
I imagine
monster
there
guide?
should be like in the core rooms.
There are sheep in the monster guide, actually. Good.
Yeah, they're in the addendum. That is a 21 to grapple. Because I've got this handy dagger upping my strength.
His grapple check is +2. He rolled a 2. That's a 4.
Nice.
I would like to grab the fleet of sheep.
You have grabbed the sheep.
It's nice and fluffy.
It takes...
Don't hit it.
Takes damage and then turns back into a dwarf.
Turns back
Who has a
into-
much better grapple check.
But a grappled dwarf.
It takes 5 damage.
Okay. The sheep's not dead, so he has not changed back.
As I put the sheep in a headlock.
I wish you had. I was gonna roll the fiery spear over it next turn.
Alright,
Leaf.
Brick, it's your turn. No, that was Jang's attack opportunity.
Oh, that's alright. Next turn.
Alright.
Punch
Uh,
the human. Punch the
So
human.
did the human move away from me, or was he still right there?
He's still right there.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm helping you flank, so you get that +4.
Awesome.
I don't have much left in him, but he's still going.
Knock him out.
Probably not. 13.
13.
That
That will miss.
Wow, you
That
rolled
would-
really well.
I rolled a 3.
Roll a 3.
Well,
Put him down.
Roll the 4.
Thoradin,
Heals himself. Lay on hands.
That seems like a bad maneuver. He's basically just dead. You may as well see if you can take somebody with him.
Nice. It's a good dice.
Or surrender. But I don't think that'll work given the orc.
I would accept it.
I would too. But we're not in charge here.
I mean, granted, I would just sort of be healing him as he is slowly mauled to death. But, you know.
You wouldn't be slowly.
Heal, wham, heal, wham, heal, wham. Bad blood heal, wham.
Blood hilt, not blood heal.
Whatever.
alright, he's gonna just swing at Warlord Bloodhill. Wow, we're only 3. Roll better on your second attack. 11, okay. With the bonus, that actually hits. And he's gonna pour his holy strike into this.
One last burst of radiant energy.
I need more d6s.
Yeah, he's got stamina. He's got a stamina score. That's something you and I lack.
I have stamina?
30 points of
yours?
damage to Warlord Bloodhill,
18.
who is
Yeah.
unfortunately uninjured, so doesn't actually take him out.
Twice your modifier.
Then
I don't have a
second
D6
attack.
die.
Misses. Oh no, he already missed. That was the second attack.
He hit blood hilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did blood hilt get knocked out?
No.
Okay.
He only took 30 points of damage.
Only 30 points damage.
Shiana.
Alright. Try to take him down.
Alright, roll me an attack.
You now have the better flanking.
You have better odds than those people.
But that was a 1, so
Never
Or
mind.
you're going to roll a natural 1.
Never mind.
I didn't want to.
You're caught in the grass.
Josh.
Or you go for the low uppercut and your claws just go and you hit a
Somebody
rock.
has to do something. I guess I might as well shoot him. Just to see if I can.
I think you're at like a -4 because the dude is surrounded.
I don't know. I'm not.
Please don't hit me.
14. 14 to hit.
No. He's in full plate. What'd you roll?
What?
What'd you roll?
A 10.
Oh, well.
You know, that's the way it goes.
Tinkers are not exactly.
I'm not really.
Got it. You need to get me some explosives.
First,
You need to get the
Yeah, I
grenade
know.
put
I'm going to
together.
do my grenades. Yeah,
first the flaming sphere moves back through space. So I need to make another reflex save.
Is that Paladin?
Yeah.
It's a 9 again, so 19.
Alright. Then, as it moves past, I swing with my sword. That's a crit. Let me confirm it.
He's probably dead.
16 is 20 plus 25 plus 26, 7, 27 to hit.
Yes.
27 to confirm the
Yes.
crit. Okay. Let me roll a ridiculous amount of damage. Excuse me.
What?
I'm actually. No, I'm not. I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to waste the elemental smite. Wow!
What?
6111. Plus 12, but. So that's 1521 times 2, 40,
Yeah, he's dead.
42.
He is very dead.
Alright, we show the sheep.
And as this fight mostly winds down, as Jangatal is currently holding a struggling sheep that was at one point and might be again very shortly a dwarf, that is where we're going to end for the week.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Farewell.
Bye. Bye.